More careful next time. Wan Qiqi pulled Yang Lingling over and pointed at the wound on her head while imparting her experience. Wan Yan listened very carefully and kept it in mind. Next time when you hit someone, be careful to avoid their vital parts. The onlookers originally thought that this parent was too ignorant, but when they saw it was Wan Qiqi, they immediately felt that it was natural. Moreover, they were all afraid of Wan Shuangjiang and her daughter. It turned out that two kinds of melons could not grow on the same vine. Wan Shuangjiang's family was crazy. Even the 4- or 5-year-old children were so crazy. They must not offend this family in the future. I have finished writing the 3rd update.
I went to climb Mount Sanqing today.
It was really beautiful. Unfortunately, there was too much fog on the mountain, so many scenic spots were not clear. But it was still very beautiful. It is worth going there a few more times. The food in Shangrao is delicious. I highly recommend it. Wan Shuangjiang also saw her second sister. She was so surprised that she knocked He Fenghua to the ground with 3 punches and 2 kicks. She then rode on top of her, grabbed the woman by the hair and said fiercely, "If you dare to bully us again, I will kill your whole family. I hate your mother."
Bah.
He Fenghua had only finished swearing when Wan Shuangjiang stuffed a ball of sand into her mouth. "Go ahead and curse me. If you keep cursing, I'll pour shoot into your mouth." Wan Shuangjiang looked at her with a sneer and felt extremely happy. Sure enough, the second sister was right. The arrogant ones were afraid of the crazy ones. As long as she went crazy, even the fierce woman, He Fenghua, would be afraid of her. He Fenghua spat out all the sand in her mouth. A large patch of her hair was pulled out, her nose and face were swollen, and she no longer had the arrogance she once had. Her daughter stood beside her pitifully, and in her heart she listed the Wan Yen sisters as her most terrible enemies. From then on, she would avoid the 2 sisters whenever she saw them and would not dare to offend them. Wan Qiqi walked up to He Fenghua and said coldly, "Next time I hear those nonsense words, I will send you to labor reform. My father-in-law is the commander and my husband is the deputy head of the regiment. What's wrong with you? How dare you bully my eldest sister and niece?" This was the first time she had bullied others by taking advantage of her power. Sometimes, when dealing with some zitches, reasoning doesn't work, and you really need to use the power of others to intimidate others. Sure enough, He Fenghua's face turned pale with fright, her mind became clear, and she really wanted to slap herself in the face. "I didn't do it on purpose. I was just so angry that I did something stupid. Your niece even broke my daughter's head." He Fenghua's momentum weakened a lot, but she was still a little unwilling. She and her mother were beaten so badly, but the man in the family was still restless. She hated it. "My Nian beat your daughter, because she is just as cheap as you are. If you can't discipline your daughter well as a mother, don't blame others for helping you. And if you are angry, go and teach your man a lesson. You don't dare to teach your man a lesson. You want to pick on the weak, but you didn't get the upper hand and got beaten. Aren't you very unwilling to accept this?" He Fenghua didn't say anything, but her indignant expression showed that she was indeed unwilling to accept this. "If you're unwilling, just hold it in. Next time you see my elder sister, avoid her. And your easy womanty man, if you don't have a mirror at home, just annoy and look at yourself. How dare you act easy womanty in front of my elder sister? If you do that again, I'll send both of you to a farm for reform." Wan Qiqi's face turned cold, and he made harsh remarks. He also took out $5 from his pocket and threw it over. The money floated down to He Fenghua's feet and lay there quietly. "This money is for your daughter's medical expenses. Discipline your daughter well next time. Otherwise, if she is beaten to death, you can only cry at her grave." Wan Qiqi warned coldly. She originally wanted to give more money, but He Fenghua was too cheap, so $5 was enough. "My daughter has such a big hole in her head, and you only took $5? Even if your family is an official, you can't bully others." He Fenghua was unwilling to accept the result and started to make a fuss, demanding that she be compensated at least 20 yuan. "What are you arguing about? If you have nothing to do, go to the workshop and work." Director Lin's roar rang out. He had just finished his official business and was about to go home for dinner when he saw a group of people gathered around him. He also heard the shouting of He Fenghua, the factory's bandit mall. His head suddenly became bigger. Everyone dispersed and stood far away to watch the fun. Chi-Chi is here. Why don't you come to my place? Seeing Wan Chi-Chi, Director Lin's dark face broke into a smile, and his gentle tone made everyone look at him in disbelief. When had the director ever been so gentle? Was he possessed by a ghost? I just came over and you're off work. I'll come see you next time. Wan Chi-Chi greeted him with a smile. Come on, what are you going to do next time? Let's go to my house for dinner now. Your aunt's cooking is delicious. I have something I want to ask you. Can you give me some advice? Director Lin finally saw her, so he refused to let her go. He dragged her away and yelled at He Fenghua. Why don't you go back? Director, my daughter's head was broken, and she only paid $5. He Fenghua pointed at the wound on her daughter's head and complained.
Why did your daughter get beaten?
You're always talking shoot and nonsense, and that's why your daughter got beaten. If you spread rumors in the factory again, don't come to work anymore. Director Lin's face darkened, and he gave him a severe lecture. With just one glance, he knew that the little girl's injury was not serious and that she could just go to the factory's infirmary for treatment. He didn't spend a penny and was still not satisfied with $5. How greedy! He Fenghua didn't dare to make a fuss anymore and took her daughter to the infirmary angrily. She also began to fear Wan Shuangjiang because her backer was the factory director and she couldn't afford to offend him. Don't play with Wan Yen and Wan Pan anymore. Stay away from them. You deserve to be beaten. He Fenghua, who was full of anger, took it out on her daughter, scolding her all the way. The girl felt very aggrieved and cried all the way, not daring to talk back for fear of being beaten. From then on, seeing the Wan Yen sisters was like a mouse seeing a cat, and she never dared to act like this again. Wan Chi-Chi divided the meat into two halves, gave one half to Wan Shuangjiang, and took the other half to Director Lin's house. I won't be polite with you. I just ran out of meat coupons, and I'm craving for meat. Director Lin did not refuse, as he was really greedy for so much meat. After arriving home, Director Lin asked his wife to cook while he took Wan Chi-Chi away to talk. Chi-Chi, can you give me some advice? How can we get foreigners to buy our wine? Director Lin sighed with a sad face. He was very worried during this period. Wan Chi-Chi asked him to explain in detail. It turned out that they had attended the Canton Fair last month, and Director Lin also took his products with him, but the fair was deserted, and he was quite disappointed. Although our wine is not as famous as theirs, it is not bad either. After tasting it, those foreigners also said it was good, but they just didn't place an order and went to other factories to place orders. Isn't that infuriating? Director Lin sighed. This was his first time attending the Canton Fair, a chance he had fought so hard to get, but in the end he suffered a disastrous defeat and only had a few small orders scattered around. My boss talked to me and said he would give me one more chance. If the situation is the same at the Canton Fair next spring, I won't get a spot. I want to earn foreign exchange for the country, too. Why can't I sell it? It's definitely not because it tastes bad. The foreigners said it tastes good, but they just won't place an order. Chi-Chi, you're a college student. Can you help me figure out the reason? Director Lin looked at Wan Chi-Chi hopefully. He had held several meetings in the past few days and had gathered the whole factory's strength, but he still couldn't come up with a good idea. He had a feeling that this girl might be able to give him a surprise. Let me see the wine you brought to the exhibition, said Wan Chi-Chi. Director Lin took out a bottle of wine from the cabinet and placed it on the coffee table. It looked very plain. Wan Chi-Chi understood at a glance that it was actually because of his good looks that he suffered. She remembered that the wine's packaging was later changed and sales soared. The packaging was indeed beautiful, especially the bottle, which could be used as a vase after drinking the wine. It was very exquisite. Change the packaging. Foreigners like Chinese porcelain. Find someone to design some exquisite porcelain bottles and boxes. There will be no problem at the Canton Fair next spring. Wan Chi-Chi gave some advice. She did not provide the packaging of her previous life because she was too lazy to draw. She also did not want to finish all the things to appear capable. In the future, all the work would come to her, and she would be exhausted. What's wrong with this packaging? It's packed tightly, how nice. Director Lin picked up the wine and looked at it from left to right. He was very confused.
It was so simple and cheap.
It would cost money to hire someone to design it, and it would also cost a lot to make custom-made porcelain. He didn't sell a single bottle of this wine, and he still had to spend a lot of money. What's the point of you thinking it's good? It's only good if foreigners think it's good. Go and look at those wineries that sell well. Aren't their packaging very beautiful? Yuan Qiqi patiently guided Director Lin, and it was not his fault that his thinking was out of date. People nowadays believed that simplicity was beautiful and no one appreciated anything fancy. It's flashy and not simple at all. Director Lin spoke with disdain. This was something he couldn't understand. How come those weird liquors were selling so well? Uncle Lin, you're going to sell this wine to foreigners, so they have to think it looks good. Foreigners like fancy things, and it is human nature to love beauty. Uncle Lin, you are the same. Yuan Qiqi rolled her eyes, her patience exhausted, and she started to speak rudely. Nonsense. When did I start liking fancy things? Director Lin flatly denied it, saying that he always believed simplicity was beauty. Just then, Aunt Lin came in with a bowl of pork cooked with garlic sprouts. Although she was in her 40s and dressed very simply, she still had fair skin and a pretty face. One can imagine how beautiful she was when she was young. Yuan Qiqi snorted softly, then really do say one thing and mean another. Uncle Lin, since you like simplicity, why don't you marry an ordinary, simple woman? Why did you marry Aunt Lin, who is so beautiful? This shows that you also like beautiful things. Yuan Qiqi refuted Aunt Lin, who blushed, glared at Director Lin, and went out to cook. That's different. Your Aunt Lin and I have a foundation of affection. I like her good character and kind heart. Director Lin's voice became lower and lower, and by the end, he felt guilty. He looked at several girls at the time, and his wife was the most beautiful. He fell in love with her at first sight. So, Yuan Qiqi was right. People like beautiful things. Director Lin suddenly understood. But he still hesitated because it costs money to hire someone to design it, and it costs a lot to make custom porcelain bottles. The factory just bought some equipment, so we're short of money. Director Lin was frowning again. Even a good cook cannot cook without rice. What should he do if he has no money? No funding from above? Yuan Qiqi asked. We are all short of money. Director Lin sighed. The country was in trouble right now, so he didn't have the nerve to ask the country for help. Yuan Qiqi thought about it and asked how much money was missing. It would cost at least 10,000 yuan to have someone design and make a custom porcelain vase. Director Lin made a rough calculation and found that it would cost at least 10,000 yuan. The money in the factory account was needed to pay the salaries. Where would he get this 10,000 yuan? Yuan Qiqi rolled her eyes and said with a smile, Uncle Lin, I'll give you 10,000 yuan, and you can help me find a sister-in-law to work, okay? Director Lin's eyes lit up and he immediately thought of the 10,000 yuan given by his old leader. A while ago, he went to the farm to visit Lu Disheng. They drank together. Lu Disheng drank too much and talked a lot to him. He regretted marrying Lin Manyun, mistreating Lu Yi, and wasting the liberation and aid to Korea. The old leader also mentioned the 10,000 yuan. Qiqi, you have 10,000 yuan? I don't feel comfortable spending your money. How about I write you an IOU and pay you back as soon as the wine is sold? Director Lin said he was sorry, but his money-grubbing smile and golden eyes showed that he did not feel embarrassed at all. Uncle Lin, let's not talk about money. It would hurt our uncle-nephew relationship. Can you please tell me first? Yuan Qiqi rolled her eyes silently. How could she, such a stingy person, take money out of her pocket? Friendship is friendship, money is money. They are two different things. Director Lin's face faded instantly, and he said listlessly, If you can really help me get 10,000 yuan, let alone arrange for one person, even 3 people will be no problem. Uncle Lin, you must keep your word. Auntie, please bear witness for me. Otherwise Uncle Lin will deny his debts. Yuan Qiqi immediately responded. It was fine to have 3 vacancies. She would give a job to whoever she liked when the time came. Lin just came in with some dishes. She smiled and said, Okay, I'll testify. I guarantee He won't dare to deny his debt. A real man should keep his word. Chi-Chi, stop keeping me in suspense and tell me what to do. Director Lin became excited again. This girl is very clever, and her ideas are always right. Maybe she really has a solution. Chi-Chi took out a pen and paper from her bag and wrote a few names in a flamboyant manner. Each name had a suffix after it. Huang Momu, the shoe box under the bed. Lu XX, the biscuit box at the bottom of the cousin's dowry box. Mr. Li, vase on the chest of drawers. Su Momu, the third drawer of the chest of drawers. There are 6 names in total, all of whom are the winery's buyers, deputy factory director, purchasing director, and canteen director, including those who have been in office and those who are currently in office. Director Lin looked at the note, frowning, not understanding it. Go into the house quietly and look for the place I told you to find a surprise. Chi-Chi knew that his brain power was limited, so she kindly explained. She went to collect the debt. She also checked the winery and found a lot of corrupt officials. The total amount of money they had embezzled was definitely more than 10,000 yuan. Director Lin understood and immediately became furious. He raised his hand to bang the table, but was stopped by Chi-Chi. Slap your thigh, I still need to eat. Lin were all delicious and could rival those cooked by Shi Xiaojun's mother. But after Shi Jinghong died, the half-crazy and half-stupid Shi Xiaojun was assigned by the farm to dig lotus roots and drowned. After losing her husband and son in succession, Shi Xiaojun's mother couldn't bear it anymore and went crazy. It looked like she wouldn't live for many days. Chi-Chi ate a feast at Lin's house. She ate 3 big bowls of rice and a lot of dishes. She went to Shuangjiang with a burp. The mother and her 2 daughters had already finished dinner. Shuangjiang was washing clothes at the door, and the 2 little girls were watching TV. The TV is an 11-inch black and white TV, given by Chi-Chi. There are no more than 3 families in the whole factory who have a TV. This is also one of the reasons why He Fenghua is jealous of Shuangjiang. Chi-Chi, have you eaten yet? Shuangjiang stood up with a smile and wiped her hands on her apron. I've finished eating. I'm coming over to take a look. I'm not going into the house. Chi-Chi stood at the door and talked to her, just chatting about some family matters. Shuangjiang was now standing up, and the Yen sisters were also very strong. Xiaoxue and Song Junjie had both passed the physical examination and would be joining the army at the end of the month. Lu Yi used some connections, and the couple were assigned to the Southwest Military Region so that they could take care of each other. She has fulfilled all 3 conditions she promised her original body. From now on, she will let herself go and live a happy and free life. Don't worry about Xiaoxue going to the Southwest. Lu Yi has asked his comrades to take care of her. As long as Xiaoxue performs well, she will be promoted. You don't need to take special care of her. Don't let people gossip about your brother-in-law. It's good enough that Xiaoxue can join the army. Shuangjiang's eyes were complicated, as if she was looking at another person through Chi-Chi. It's okay. I will definitely take care of you if I can. Call me if you have any problems next time. You guys were really good just now. Keep it up. Chi-Chi praised her and her 2 children. Shuangjiang smiled and said meaningfully, I was useless before, and I made you and Xiaoxue suffer a lot. In the future, I will definitely stand up and not be bullied anymore. Your studies are important, don't worry about me. Well, I'll come when I'm free. It's cold, so I can heat water to wash clothes. Don't force yourself. Chi-Chi gave some instructions and rode away on her bike. Shuangjiang looked at her from behind, her eyes gradually turning red, and she murmured, Xiaoqi, I will do my best. You can go to your next life and live a good life without any worries. The Lu Jiafeng brothers at the border have started their daily routine of waiting anxiously since they sent the letter. After patrolling every day, the 2 brothers stand at the intersection where the postman must pass and wait. Brother, did sister-in-law receive the letter? Lu Yuanchao turned his sore neck and asked in a low voice. I think you should have received it. It's been half a month. Lu Jiafeng calculated the time. It had been half a month since he sent the letter. As long as everything went smoothly on the way, he would definitely receive it. Brother, can sister-in-law come up with a solution? Lu Yuanchao gritted his teeth. The black monkeys were too mean. They always jumped outside the border and mumbled something they couldn't understand. But even if they couldn't understand, they could tell from the monkeys' mean expressions and obscene movements that these jerks definitely didn't fart well. Another time, the squad leader took his brothers and several comrades on patrol. A stray bullet was fired, and the squad leader was hit in order to cover them. Fortunately, he was not injured in any vital parts. Even though the squad leader was very fierce, scolded them to death, and was cruel and merciless, often punishing them by putting them in solitary confinement, but even so, they were still family members. Why should they be bullied by the black monkey? He and his brother had never felt so aggrieved since they were young, except when they were with Lu Yi. If there hadn't been an order from above not to cross the border, he would have definitely crossed over and taught those dirty monkeys a lesson. Of course, my sister-in-law is full of bad intentions. She is extremely smart. Lu Jiefeng braked in time, swallowed the bad words, and almost slipped his tongue. That's right. Lu Yuanchao nodded vigorously. The two brothers turned their necks at the same time. Their necks were sore from waiting for too long. What are you two waiting for here, every day? Someone came over and made a joke. Wait for my sister-in-law's letter. The two brothers answered in unison. It's only been half a month since you sent it out. Even if your sister-in-law received it, it would take her half a month to send it back. Are you waiting for air? The person asking the questions looked at them like they were fools. From the day the package was sent out, these two fools started waiting, and they have been waiting for half a month. The two brothers blinked a few times in unison and touched the back of their heads in unison. Their movements were in unison and their confused expressions were exactly the same. Yeah, brother. Why did you drag me here to wait? Lu Yuanchao asked innocently. My legs are on your body. Why did you follow me? Lu Jiefeng was a little annoyed and angry. He glared at her unhappily, held his head high, and walked away quickly. Brother, wait for me. Can you cook for me tonight? I want to eat beef stewed with potatoes. Lu Yuanchao chased after him. Walk. Lu Jiefeng's mouth was drooling. He stopped and waited, and then the two brothers ran towards the cafeteria with shining eyes. The person asking the question smiled and shook his head. He had never seen such stupid people. Or were these two brothers exactly the same stupid? I don't know what kind of parents gave birth to them. The two brothers had a big meal in the cafeteria and burped all over. Next to them was their mortal enemy Cui Xiongwei, who closed his eyes and swallowed the porridge with a fearless attitude. After swallowing a few mouthfuls, he had to stretch his neck upwards to let the porridge slide down, otherwise it would get stuck in his throat, and he would be very uncomfortable.
Mr. Cui.
Xiongwei, would you like me to treat you to some meat? Lu Yuanchao walked over and asked with malicious intent. Ever since the leech incident, the squad leader has made a new rule that strictly prohibits giving comrades insulting nicknames, especially father-in-law and governor. Violators will be put in solitary confinement. The two brothers made several slips of the tongue and were put in solitary confinement, but they finally learned their lesson.
Roll.
Cui Xiongwei glared fiercely and dared not scold the governor of Hong Kong anymore. He couldn't control his tongue several times and was put in solitary confinement by the squad leader. Finally, he learned his lesson. If you don't want to eat, then don't eat. Why are you scolding me? I'll tell the squad leader later. Lu Yuanchao angrily slapped him on the back of the head and said he would go and complain, but when he mentioned the squad leader, they all fell silent. The squad leader is lying in the hospital. Grass. Lu Yuanchao was in no mood to argue with Cui Xiongwei and was going back to the dormitory with a sullen face. Lu Jiefeng, there's a call for you. It's your sister-in-law. Someone was shouting outside. Everyone in the cafeteria looked at the two brothers with envy and jealousy in their eyes. He must have sent money again. The brothers' eyes lit up and they rushed to answer the phone. Lu Jiefeng barely caught his breath and stammered, Big sister-in-law. How come you stuttered after going to the border? Take a deep breath before you speak. Hey, I'm going to catch my breath. Lu Jiefeng was very obedient. He took several deep breaths and finally caught his breath. Sister-in-law, I'm breathing well. Lu Jiefeng reported obediently, like a primary school student. The operator next to him twitched his mouth. No wonder these two fools always said that the eldest sister-in-law is like a mother. It seems that she is indeed more obedient than her son. Believe me, since the leader doesn't allow you to go over, then let the monkeys come over. We can always beat them if they come over, right? Ruan Chichi asked. I can beat them, but they're very ruthless, so I won't come over. Your eldest brother has asked someone to send you some things. You will receive them tomorrow. Please do, as I write in the letter. Ruan Chichi hung up the phone after giving the instructions. Lu Jiefeng wanted to ask what was written in the letter, but before he could open his mouth, a beep came from the microphone. Brother, what did the sister-in-law say? Lu Yuanchao asked hopefully. This must be a good way to teach the black monkey a lesson, right? My eldest sister-in-law said that my eldest brother asked someone to send something to me, and there was also a letter from my eldest sister-in-law, asking us to do, as the letter said. Anyway, we will know tomorrow. Lu Jiefeng said exactly what he said. The two brothers looked at each other, turned around, and went back to the dormitory. That night, the two brothers suffered from insomnia, which was rare. Even when they knew they were about to be exiled to the border, they had never suffered from insomnia and slept soundly. The two of them tossed and turned in bed, the bed creaking. Cui Xiongwei said angrily, Are you still going to sleep? If not, go outside and run 20 kilometers. Oh, the squad leader is not here, so you, the servant, are calling yourself the king? Brother, don't waste time talking to him. Take him out. The two brothers jumped off the bed together, each pulling one side of Cui Xiongwei and dragging him out. The result was that the three of them ran 20 kilometers. Of course, Cui Xiongwei was forced to do so. You two governors, you jerks, you fools, you sons of zitches. I'm not done with you. Ahem. Cui Xiongwei cursed out all the dirty words he knew. Go to bed. The two brothers didn't understand, but were not angry at all. They took a shower and went to bed, sleeping soundly. On the contrary, Cui Xiongwei tossed and turned in bed, unable to sleep all night. Listening to the snoring of the two brothers, he really wanted to beat the two governors to death. The next day, the two brothers received a large package, which was delivered by a plane carrying supplies. Their comrades surrounded them and urged the brothers to open the package. Open it quickly and see what delicious food is there. Amidst everyone's anticipation, the two brothers opened the package, and what was revealed left everyone a little dumbfounded. A tape recorder and two big speakers, you can't eat them. Lu Jiefeng was reading a letter. It was not a long letter, and the two brothers finished reading it quickly and looked at each other. Brother, will this method really work? Sister-in-law can't be wrong. Let's give it a try. Although the two brothers were not smart, they had strong execution ability. They quickly installed the tape recorder and loudspeaker and took them to the border. There were a few black monkeys patrolling on the opposite side. When they saw them, they immediately started swearing and making some insulting and obscene gestures. They were so mean. I will update one first and write the remaining two at home. You jerk. If you have the guts, come here, and your grandfather will kill you. Lu Yuanchao lost his temper and ran to the edge of the boundary, put his hands on his hips and cursed at them. Several soldiers from the opposite side also ran over and cursed Lu Yuanchao face to face, each cursing at his own pace. Although no one could understand what they were saying, it did not affect their performance. Lu Yuanchao was alone in the crowd, and his momentum was a bit weak.
Duck.
You jerk. Come here if you dare, I'll kill you. Cui Xiongwei rushed over to support, cursing in the most unpleasant Shanghai dialect. Although he was not good at fighting, he was quite good at cursing. He and Lu Yuanchao were outnumbered and overwhelmed the other side.
Duck.
This jerk must have eaten shoot. It's suffocating me. Lu Yuanchao had saliva sprayed all over his face. He couldn't stand the stench and kept retching. Darn it. I can't stand it anymore. Cui Xiongwei also failed and began to vomit along with Lu Yuanchao. Darn it. These jerks are not only ugly but also darn smelly. The saliva they spit out is even stinkier than a toilet. It's so disgusting. Ha 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 ha. The person opposite laughed triumphantly, made insulting gestures and cursed. I will kill them sooner or later. Was almost furious, glared at them with gritted teeth. If it weren't for the military orders strictly prohibiting crossing the border, he would definitely go over and beat them up, beat these cheap and stinky jerks to death. Glancing at Cui Xiongwei retching and still waving his orchid finger, Lu Yuanchao said contemptuously, "Why don't you just change into a flowery dress, run over, and use your beauty to charm these jerks over, so I can beat you up? Why the heck don't you put it on yourself? I'm considering the overall situation and don't want to argue with you." Cui Xiongwei was so angry that he felt refreshed and stopped vomiting. He glared at Lu Yuanchao with gritted teeth and pressed down his raised little finger with force, feeling extremely annoyed. This little finger doesn't listen to his brain at all and always sticks up on its own, causing him to be laughed at by the two governors of Hong Kong. "Stop arguing and come here." Lu Jiefeng installed the tape recorder and speaker, inserted the tape, called the two black-eyed chickens over, and excitedly pressed the play button. After a burst of rustling sound, the old man's strong voice cursed, also in a gibberish voice, and his speaking speed was very fast. I couldn't understand a word. "What is this old man cursing?" someone asked. "Have no idea." The brothers shook their heads. "Look, they're getting angry," someone shouted excitedly, and everyone looked up at the same time. Sure enough, they saw that the people on the opposite side were so angry that their faces turned red. One person wanted to rush over, but was held back by the others. The people on the opposite side glared at them fiercely and cursed at them. Although they couldn't understand what they were saying, they could tell that their curses were very dirty. "Grandson, your grandpa is standing right here. Come here, I won't move," Lu Yuanchao shouted proudly. "Great-great-grandson, come and meet your great-grandfather." Cui Xiongwei shouted even louder and mentioned it without permission. "Grass." This time the two brothers reacted extremely quickly and attacked at the same time. Cui Xiongwei was hit twice on the back of the head in succession. He immediately saw stars and his head was buzzing. "Stop arguing and unite against the outside world." The other comrades were so angry that one of them kicked him and then glared at him fiercely. The three of them withdrew in disappointment. The cursing sounds from the recorder continued, attracting another 10 people. Among them was a man with a slightly lighter complexion who stood at the front. The others were all respectful, and it was obvious that he was a superior. The officer also brought a translator, but his Chinese was not very good, and he spoke haltingly. "Our superior said that you are damaging the relationship between the two countries by playing insulting language on the recorder. The superior asked you to turn off the recorder immediately, otherwise we will regard your behavior as deliberately provoking conflict between the two countries and you, China, will be responsible for the consequences." The officer spoke a lot, looking very angry. "Bullshit. I'm playing a tape recorder in my own yard. It's none of your business. If you don't want to listen, just poke your ears out," Lu Yuanchao cursed. "If you can't do it, we, as friendly neighbors, are willing to help." Cui Xiongwei picked up a thin stick from the ground and made a gesture of poking his ear in a mean manner. "You can come over here to check in. My recorder is right here." After Lu Jiefeng finished speaking, he glared at the two idiots with disdain. His scolding was totally off the point, and they were so stupid. "That's right, come here." The two fools immediately got enlightened and used their little fingers to hook their fingers towards the other side. After hearing what the translator said, the officer's face turned even darker. He mumbled a bunch of words again, which were conveyed by the translator. The meaning was similar to what he had said before, warning Lu Jiefeng and the others not to cause trouble. "I'm warning you, come then look at my mouth." Lu Jiefeng was getting impatient after being warned, and suddenly he remembered that Wan Chi had two sentences in pinyin at the end of the letter, which were particularly difficult to pronounce. The letter said that he could use these two sentences to curse the other party, and the other party would definitely break down. He memorized the sentence, practiced it repeatedly, and could read it fluently. Lu Jiefeng read the sentence word for word to the person opposite him and spoke it very loudly. As soon as the words fell, everyone's face changed, including the superior and the translator. "Brother, did you duck their ancestors?" Lu Yuanchao asked, and Cui Xiongwei next to him also looked curious. "I don't know who I ducked, my sister-in-law taught me." Lu Jiefeng was also a little confused. He didn't expect that this difficult sentence would have such a good effect. The jerk on the opposite side was so angry that his skin turned red. Brother, I want to learn. I want one too. Lu Yuanchao and Cui Xiongwei shouted in unison, and other comrades also clamored to learn. Why are you in such a hurry?
My sister-in-law taught me something.
Let me try it first. Lu Jiefeng was a little flattered. He was always the one chasing others to copy homework, but this was the first time that someone chased him to learn to curse. So happy. So proud. Thanks, sister-in-law. Lu Jiefeng read another sentence loudly, and then the people on the opposite side whose red temperature had returned to normal quickly turned red again. A few people couldn't help it and jumped up and cursed. This time the officer didn't stop them, but looked at Lu Jiefeng and the others coldly, with murderous eyes. Haha, they're so annoyed. Let's get them to teach us. I'll scold them to death. Everyone was very happy. In the past, they used to curse at them in their hometown dialect, and even if they cursed their ancestors for 18 generations, these jerks would not react. After all, she was Lu Jiefeng's sister-in-law. She was indeed a great person who could train her brother-in-law into a son. Although it is difficult to read, there are only 2 sentences and they are swear words, so everyone learns it quickly and mastered it in just a few minutes. The loudspeaker next to them played obscene words on a loop. Lu Jiefeng and his friends lined up and shouted in unison, "Each of you will have 18 daughters. I wish that the sons you give birth to will all become women in the future and be ridden by thousands of men." Wan Qiqi learned these 2 sentences from the internet in her previous life. The woman on the other side has an extremely low status and is not treated as a human being at all. If she scolds a man for having a daughter, it is more vicious than the Chinese curse, duck you. Wan Qiqi and the genius old man learned these 2 sentences and marked them with pinyin to make it easier for Lu Jiefeng and the others to learn. The effect was really good. 2 people were so angry that they lost their minds and wanted to rush over to teach Lu Jiefeng brothers a lesson. Because among this group of people, brother Lu Jiefeng cursed the loudest and had the most despicable expression. I'm sorry. I wanted to write when I got home, but I fell into a deep sleep and just woke up now. Also, these things about the border are all fictional history. Don't compare them with reality. Some of them are the author's free play, and there will definitely be many loopholes when compared with reality. Haha. The 2 black monkeys still failed to rush over and were stopped by their leader. The commander looked at the Lu Jiefeng brothers gloomily, as if he wanted to remember their appearance clearly. Lu Yuanchao pointed his little finger down at him and shouted arrogantly, "Grandson, come here and kowtow to your grandfather. Grandson, come here. Grandpa will teach you how to be a man." Lu Jiefeng also made the same gesture, with an even more arrogant attitude. "Great-great-grandson, come here quickly. Grandpa has been saving up his urine for 21 years. It's a good thing for you." Cui Xiongwei was even more arrogant. He unbuttoned his clothes and shot out a high stream of water, which even crossed the line and landed on the opponent's ground. "Duck, I can shoot farther than you." Lu Yuanchao was not willing to be outdone. He gathered all the energy in his dantian and released a huge amount of water. The water indeed went farther than Cui Xiongwei's, and some of the water even splashed onto the upper of his superior's boots. "I'm even further away." Lu Jiefeng snorted and shot a farther stream of lightning, which pierced the officer's other boot. "The company commander won't let us cross the line to provoke," someone said worriedly. "I didn't go there, it was my urine that went there, and the company commander didn't say I couldn't pee." Lu Jiefeng had a good point, because Wan Qiqi had said in the letter that they should find ways to lure the black monkey across the border so that they could beat it openly. His is called Urinating to Attract Monkeys, in the 36 strategies. Very high. Lu Jiefeng was very proud and felt that he was indeed a genius. He had been restricted in Tanzhou and Jiangqing before, but he was able to give full play to his talents only after arriving at the border. "That's right, you control everything, including my peeing?" After Lu Yuanchao had released the water and fastened his buttons, he gave his little finger to his officer, who was almost annoyed off, in an extremely provocative manner. "I'll treat you guys to a meal tomorrow." "It's enough." Cui Xiongwei is also very arrogant. After all, he was once a domineering playboy in the compound. He doesn't need any acting skills at all, and plays his role completely in his true character. Suddenly, a black monkey rushed across the line, howling, holding a gun with a bayonet in its hand, and stabbed at Lu Jiefeng. "Brother, get down!" Lu Yuanchao shouted and rushed over at an extremely fast speed. Lu Jiefeng also lay on the ground very quickly. This was the tacit understanding and trust that they had developed between brothers over the years. "I'll beat you to death, you jerk. I've been putting up with you for a long time, you son of a zitch." Lu Yuanchao rode on the black monkey, snatched the bayonet, and threw it far away. The other comrades quickly picked it up and loaded their guns. The black monkey on the opposite side also loaded his guns, and the two sides confronted each other. Cui Xiongwei and Lu Jiefeng also joined in. The three of them surrounded and beat the black monkey, and in an instant he was beaten to the ground. Of the black monkeys demanded that we release the prisoners, but of course we refused. Anyone who crossed the border was an enemy and could not be killed. "Don't beat him to death." An older comrade reminded him that he was not speaking for the black monkey, but was considering the overall situation. If someone really died, there would be big trouble. Although it is very frustrating, we have to endure it now. When China becomes stronger in the future, we won't have to endure it anymore. Then cripple him. Without saying a word, Lu Jiefeng kicked the black monkey on the ground hard in the crotch. Then, Lu Yuanchao +1.
Cui Xiongwei +1.
The screams of the black monkeys resounded through the sky. The other black monkeys roared in anger, wishing they could kill the three of them, but they did not dare to act on their own without orders from their superiors. "You still won't come over? I'll kick you again." Lu Jiefeng raised his foot and stomped hard on something, rolling it a few times. The black monkey on the ground screamed miserably, and its body bent like a shrimp in pain. "Brother, they are so cowardly." Lu Yuanchao also stepped on it, but he stepped on the other side. The black monkey let out a mournful cry, and the two quail eggs were completely destroyed. "Save me." The black monkey cried for help from his superior. The commander gritted his teeth and asked to negotiate with Lu Jiefeng and their company commander. "Who do you think you are? You want to see our company commander? Wash your black monkey face first." Even though Lu Yuanchao is not very smart, his mouth is as poisonous as poison. The same goes for Lu Jiefeng. Both brothers have been practicing martial arts since they were young. When they were young, not only were they beaten badly by Lu Yi, they were also scolded like grandsons. Their hands-on ability was no match for Lu Yi anyway, so the two brothers could only train their tongues and try to beat Lu Yi in scolding. But the result was that Lu Yi didn't even give the two brothers a chance to speak and knocked them down in just a few hits. However, the two brothers have developed sharp tongues and are more than capable of scolding the black monkey. The two brothers were too lazy to talk and turned on the recorder again, which they had turned off during the negotiation. The genius old man's curses played in a loop again. The Lu Jiefeng brothers retreated to the side to drink water and stared at the black monkeys vigilantly, fearing that their tape recorder and speakers would be damaged by them. The commander on the opposite side left with his men, leaving only a few people to stand guard. The black monkey, who was beaten like a servant, was carried away by the soldiers. On this day, the border was very lively, with horns honking nonstop. The black monkey on guard was so angry that he jumped up and down, but he didn't dare to come over. Brother Lu Jiefeng and his comrades were very happy, and all the frustration they had felt in the past few days was swept away. During the evening patrol and changing shifts, the comrades who came to take over gave the two brothers a thumbs up, and the look in their eyes was no longer one of contempt but admiration. The two brothers touched the back of their heads, feeling uncomfortable. After all, they have been looked down upon since they were young, and they have long been accustomed to it, and even think that it is good to live a carefree life. But now they have a sense of pride and are full of ambition. This feeling is hard to describe in words, but it feels great anyway, and they want more. On the way back, the two brothers still felt like they were dreaming, and they walked with 1 foot deep and 1 foot light. "Brother, did Brother Wang give me a thumbs up?" It stood up and stood up 3 times. "Brother, I want to make a contribution." "I wanted too." The two brothers didn't know that their mentality had undergone a qualitative change at this moment, from wanting to survive when they first arrived to wanting to make merit. They also wanted to be given a thumbs up again, and they wanted to hear Lu Disheng say, "Well done. You are worthy of being my son." Who followed them silently, curled his lips in disdain to hide his inner envy and jealousy. He really wanted that thumbs up to be given to him. Darn. Even the governor of Hong Kong can deserve praise. He is so smart. He must not lose. I will call my brother later and ask him for any tips on how to deal with the black monkeys. Although Cui Xiongwei is a coward, his elder brother used to be a member of the Sharp Knife Company of the Southwest Military Region. He has been to the border many times to carry out missions and has experience in dealing with black monkeys. Just as I arrived at the cafeteria entrance, someone ran over and called out, "Lu Jiefeng, your sister-in-law is calling." The brothers' eyes lit up and they quickly ran to answer the phone. Cui Xiongwei felt jealous because he also wanted an elder sister-in-law who was like a mother to him, but his eldest sister-in-law was a military doctor, more fierce than his eldest brother, and even his mother was afraid of her. "Sister-in-law, your tape recorder is really useful." The black monkey was so angry. "And the two pinyin sentences you taught were amazing." A black monkey was so angry that he ran over and was beaten by us. Lu Jiefeng excitedly talked about today's achievements and humbly asked, "Sister-in-law, what did those two sentences mean? Duck their ancestors?" Ruan Chichi gave a brief explanation, but the two brothers didn't understand. What was there to be angry about having a daughter? After all, monkeys are monkeys, and they think differently from humans. The higher-ups will definitely ask you to return the black monkey you caught. You should cripple him first. Do you know how to cripple him? It's already broken. Yuan Chao and I each stepped on it and crushed it. The bones were also broken. Lu Jiefeng's tone was very proud. He and his brother were very skilled in this business. "Well done. Just give the black monkey some breath. Don't be soft-hearted. I sent you some money. Eat well so you can beat him up." Ruan Chichi hated the black monkey very much. Brother Lu Jiefeng beat up the black monkey, which won her heart very much and deserves reward. The Lu Jiefeng brothers went to eat happily. Their simple thinking was like this: beat up the black monkey equals rich equals special treatment. Therefore, they will beat up more black monkeys in the future and strive to give them special treatment every day. Cui Xiongwei, who had also finished the call, was a little absent-minded. He was thinking about what his elder brother said. Soldiers crossing the border is a big deal, but civilians crossing the border is a small matter. Finally finished writing, there will be one more update at midnight, and the rest will be written during the day. I should be able to resume normal updates tomorrow. Since they would receive money soon and also got praised, the two brothers decided to treat themselves. They asked Lao Huang to stew a big pot of potatoes and beef, and another big pot of rice. They ate until they were burping and were very happy. Cui Xiongwei also cooked his own meal. He stewed a big pot of fish and ate it with his two brothers who were close friends. Stewed by Lao Huang was particularly delicious. Cui Xiongwei used to love it very much. But today he was eating absent-mindedly. He was still thinking about what his elder brother had said. He kept thinking about it until the evening. He tossed and turned in bed. His mind was extremely excited, and he couldn't fall asleep at all. Because he figured it out. He can just disguise himself as an ordinary citizen and beat up the monkey. It has nothing to do with the army. Creaky. The bed was shaking very loudly, and brother Lu Jiefeng couldn't sleep because of the noise. He jumped out of bed in anger and dragged Cui Xiongwei out for a run without saying a word. After running 10 kilometers, all three of them were sweating profusely. Cui Xiongwei rarely swore today. He was still immersed in the excitement of playing the role of an ordinary person, and he was struggling with what kind of costume would be most appropriate. He is a handsome man with an elegant demeanor, so he must dress up as a gentleman. He doesn't want to dress up as those dirty farmers. Stupid? Lu Yuanchao was not used to his silence and slapped him on the back of the head. "I'm about to make a great contribution. I won't bother with you guys." Cui Xiongwei gritted his teeth and suppressed his anger. After all, he was about to make a contribution and would be a hero praised by everyone. How could he afford to be on the same level as the two governors of Hong Kong? You? You might as well castrate yourself. Lu Jiefeng sneered disdainfully and didn't believe it at all. Don't be so mean. My elder brother is from the Sharp Knife Company of the Southwest Military Region. He taught me a wonderful method. Humph, you want to know? I won't tell you. When he saw that brother Lu Jiefeng had caught a black carp. You are the only one who has a big brother? My big brother is also from the Sharp Blade Company, and he is also a military leader. My big brother can beat your big brother with one hand. Lu Yuanchao was not convinced. Although he didn't like Lu Yi, it didn't mean that he didn't admit that Lu Yi was strong enough, definitely stronger than Servant Cui. What did your elder brother say? Lu Jiefeng wanted to know more about the method brother Cui taught him. Maybe it could help him teach the black monkey a lesson, and his sister-in-law would definitely reward them with more money. Why should I tell you? What are you doing? Let me go. Cui Xiongwei refused to say anything, but the next second, he was restrained by Lu Jiefeng. Lu Yuanchao reacted very quickly and quickly took off his socks that had not been washed for 3 days. The stench was enough to kill an elephant. Lu Yuanchao himself was disgusted with it, so he picked up the socks with 2 fingers and tried to stuff them into Cui Xiongwei's mouth.
Ugh. Shoot.
Take it away. Cui Xiongwei rolled his eyes so much from the fumes that he almost vomited the stewed fish he had eaten that night. I'll put it in your mouth. Lu Jiefeng threatened openly. Lu Yuanchao had a wicked smile on his face, and the socks in his hand were getting closer and closer, only 3 or 4 centimeters away from Cui Xiongwei's mouth. I said,
Ugh.
Take it away. Cui Xiongwei surrendered and confessed honestly. The brothers' eyes lit up. This was a good idea. They could disguise themselves as ordinary people, teach the black monkey a lesson, and then come back, all without anyone noticing. They would definitely not be discovered. Let's take a break together next time. The 2 brothers set the time domineeringly, regardless of whether Cui Xiongwei agreed or not. I don't want to. Cui Xiongwei had just protested when a smelly sock was stuffed into his mouth. He was so scared that he quickly shut up and was forced to accept the action of the 3 people. 3 days later was their day off, and the 3 decided to take action on that day. However, the day before the action, they had a disagreement. Cui Xiongwei wanted to dress up as a gentleman, but the 2 brothers strongly opposed it. Lu Yuanchao also came up with a brilliant idea. You dress up as a woman, wear a flowery dress and a veil, and the black monkey will definitely not be able to recognize you. Why don't you guys pretend? Why should I pretend? Cui Xiongwei was particularly sensitive about dressing up as a woman. He was not even afraid of his smelly socks and jumped up to protest. Who made you so delicate and thin? Your waist is thinner than a woman's. If not you, who will? Lu Yuanchao retorted angrily that the big man's waist was thinner than the woman's, his skin was whiter than the woman's, and he could even raise his index finger. No matter how he dressed up, he was better looking than the women on the black-skinned monkey side. Cui Xiongwei's protest was ineffective, so he was forced to agree, but he made a request. You have to dress up as a woman or I won't. If they want to pretend, then they can pretend together. Otherwise, he won't pretend even if he has to eat smelly socks. The Lu Jiefeng brothers, who were eager to make money, agreed. The next day, the 3 of them had a day off. They asked for leave early in the morning and went to the market to buy clothes. The residents on the border were very mixed. Most of them were locals, and a small number were people from the other side. So they could buy their clothes at the market. They bought 3 sets, walked through the small road, found a secluded place to change clothes, and hid the changed military uniforms. All 3 of them wore veils and had red dots on their foreheads. They looked at each other and showed expressions of disgust.
Wait.
Lu Jiefeng called out to the handsome but unromantic Cui Xiongwei, took out 2 buns from his arms, and stuffed them into his clothes. Suddenly, Cui Xiongwei became charming and voluptuous. Fair and delicate skin, expressive eyes, a slender waist, and a graceful figure. She is prettier than many local women. The Lu Jiefeng brothers looked like Cui Xiongwei's maids. The 3 of them walked towards the market and met many local people along the way. No one doubted their identities at all. I look pretty good in my costume. Chui Xiongwei was very proud and no longer minding the women's clothes he was wearing. He even twisted his body to be more charming, bewitching the men on the street. The market here was also very lively, and the three men quickly found their target, two black monkey soldiers. They were also on duty and were preparing to go to the brothel in the town to have fun. The three of them exchanged glances for a few seconds, and Chui Xiongwei walked towards the two black monkeys gracefully, and the handkerchief fell in front of him. The black monkey picked it up, raised his head, and his eyes suddenly widened. This woman is more beautiful than the most expensive top easy-sold woman in the brothel. She smiles so beautifully at them. She must like them, right? Chui Xiongwei was wearing a veil, with affectionate eyes. He looked back and smiled. Without saying anything, he hooked two black monkeys into black carp, which followed him fascinatedly. Who were obsessed with love, did not notice that the road was getting further and further away. Instead, they thought that the beauty was deliberately leading them to a secluded place so that she could have fun with them. The Lu Jifeng brothers followed closely and finally arrived at a secluded place. Apart from them and the black monkey, there was no one else. The impatient black monkey pounced towards Chui Xiongwei, but someone grabbed his collar from behind. He turned around and wanted to curse, but was hit hard in the face, followed by a barrage of punches. 3 against 2. The result was no surprise. The two black monkeys were beaten half to death and were only breathing their last breath. "Brother, do you want to kill him?" Lu Yuanchao asked. "Of course, they saw us." Lu Jifeng didn't hesitate. He grabbed the black monkey's neck and twisted it. With a click, the black monkey died. Lu Yuanchao and Chui Xiongwei were both dumbfounded. They didn't expect Lu Jifeng would just kill the man without beating him at all. It was much more efficient than killing a mouse. Not only are the leeches fat on the border, but the rats are also fat and bold, coming out even in broad daylight. The veterans often catch rats for a snack. What's more, rat meat tastes like beef and is quite delicious. As soon as the new recruits reported for duty, the veterans taught them how to catch rats. The Lu Jifeng brothers thought rats were disgusting, so no matter whether they were catching or killing rats, they were always ranked last in the company. Lu Jifeng is second to last and Lu Yuanchao is third to last. Chui Xiongwei is last. Because of this, the three of them were often laughed at by their comrades, who laughed at them for being cowards and lacking the blood of a man, and said that it would be better for them to go home and eat. Facing the admiring gazes of his younger brother and Chui Xiongwei, Lu Jifeng raised his chin with a very calm expression, as if what he had just killed was just a small ant. But in fact, he was very panicked inside, and it took all his strength to barely control his body from shaking. Before this, he had never even slaughtered a chicken, and he had to cover his eyes when the army slaughtered pigs. But today he killed a living person and the corpse was right under his feet, still warm. "Brother, there is one more." Lu Yuanchao was ready to kill the remaining black monkey. Judging from his brother's expression just now, it shouldn't be that difficult. Just a gentle twist would be enough. Let him do it. Lu Jifeng stopped his brother and glanced at Chui Xiongwei, who was still dumbfounded. "I haven't killed one yet. I won't let you." Lu Yuanchao was not happy, and he also wanted to kill the black monkey. "No need to let me, you guys do it." Chui Xiongwei didn't want to take over at all. He had never killed a fish in his life. Lu Yuanchao snorted, thinking that Servant Chui was quite sensible. He squatted down and was about to start working but was stopped again. "Go get it, hurry up." Lu Jifeng winked at his brother and urged Chui Xiongwei to hurry up, as he would be punished if he returned late. Although Lu Yuanchao didn't understand yet, he believed in his brother unconditionally, so he urged, "You don't dare, do you?" "Who dares not?" "Humph. I'll kill you right now." Chui Xiongwei couldn't stand the provocation, so he grabbed the black monkey's head without saying a word and twisted it with gritted teeth. The unconscious black monkey woke up and struggled. Chui Xiongwei failed to hold him down, and he almost escaped. Lu Jifeng kicked him unconscious and yelled, "Stop talking like a woman and do it quickly." "You are a woman, I am a real man." Chui Xiongwei got angry. He exerted force with his hands, and with a snap, the black monkey tilted its head with its eyes open in death. "Walk." Lu Jiefeng carried a corpse and walked in front. Lu Yuanchao carried another corpse and followed quickly. The two brothers walked a few steps and found that Cui Xiongwei didn't catch up with them.
He stood there stupidly.
Lu Jiefeng was so angry that he shouted, "If you don't leave now, you'll be in trouble when they catch you." Cui Xiongwei shuddered and quickly followed. Soon he was in the front, as if he was being chased by a ghost. He had heard from the veterans that the people on the other side were not picky about meat or vegetables, and anyone who fell into their hands, regardless of gender, would be in great trouble. He would rather die than be a prisoner. The three men ran into the woods and threw the two corpses away. There were many wild beasts and poisonous insects on the mountain, and the corpses would be eaten by the wild beasts within one night without leaving anything. After dealing with the corpse, the three men quickly returned to the border, took off their clothes, killed the leeches on their bodies, changed into military uniforms, hid the women's clothes, went to the market to buy some things, and slowly returned. "Brother, why does he have to do it?" Lu Yuanchao hadn't figured it out yet, so he asked quietly. "If he does it, the three of us are like grasshoppers on the same rope. No one can escape." Lu Jiefeng whispered to his brother. He thought that if the company commander knew about this, he would definitely punish them. So he had to drag Servant Cui along as well, so that not only they brothers would be punished. "Brother, you are so smart." Lu Yuanchao suddenly understood, his clear eyes full of admiration. His brother's brain was half as smart as his sister-in-law's. "It's okay." Lu Jiefeng was extremely proud and became more and more convinced that he was a genius. The reason why he achieved nothing in the previous 22 years was mainly because Tanzhou and Jiangcheng did not give him the opportunity to display his talents. The border was his blessed land. They returned to the company. It was already dark. The three of them went straight to the cafeteria to eat. They also asked Lao Huang to stew a pot of beef for the three of them to eat together. "Yo he, when did you three become so close?" The comrades were extremely surprised. These three people were incompatible and always quarreled when they met. How come they were so friendly today that they were wearing the same pants? Do you understand the love between comrades and brothers? You have no awareness at all. Responded in unison, showing a tacit understanding. You have good chemistry, good, keep it up. The comrades were not angry at all. They were very pleased that the three young masters had finally grown up and that Squad Leader Shi's efforts were not in vain. Squad Leader Shi is the squad leader of Lu Jiefeng and his team. He has put a lot of effort into improving the relationship between these three people. Snort. The three of them hummed in unison, rolled their eyes in unison, and then lowered their heads to eat in unison. Their movements were even more consistent than if they had been trained. Lu Yuanchao ate with big mouthfuls and was very happy. Lu Jiefeng and Cui Xiongwei didn't have much appetite. Even their favorite stewed beef didn't arouse their appetite at all. In the end, most of the big pot of beef stew went into Lu Yuanchao's stomach. Vomit. Cui Xiongwei suddenly ran out and squatted on the side of the road to vomit. "Brother, look at him. He looks like he's pregnant." Lu Yuanchao chirped softly, but before he could finish his words, his brother ran over, squatted next to Cui Xiongwei, and vomited. "Brother, why are you pregnant too?" Lu Yuanchao talked to himself in dumbfoundedness. Several comrades gathered around and wanted to send them to the infirmary. "No need."
Ugh.
"I just ate too much." Ugh. Lu Jiefeng refused while vomiting. He was afraid that if he went to the infirmary, what he had done during the day would no longer be hidden. "I ate how to inia chordata." Ugh. Cui Xiongwei also refused because he was afraid of being exposed. The two of them vomited out all the food they had just eaten, even the bile. Finally, Lu Yuanchao held Cui Xiongwei in his left hand and his brother in his right hand, and dragged the two back to the dormitory. Cui Xiongwei just threw him on the bed and ignored him, while his brother carefully put him on the bed, took off his shoes, and covered him with a quilt. "Brother, drink malted milk. I made 3 spoonfuls of it." Lu Yuanchao couldn't stop swallowing his saliva. There was not much malted milk left, so he and his brother drank it carefully, only 1 spoonful at a time. It was as light as boiled water. 3 spoonfuls of malted milk were really delicious. "I can't drink it." You drink it. Lu Jiefeng waved his hands weakly. He would vomit whatever he ate now. I have heard veterans talk about their reaction to their first kill. They are excited at first, then feel nauseous. They are so nauseous that they vomit even when they drink water. After they get through this period, they will feel better. He didn't quite believe it when he heard it, but now he finally understands it. Brother, drink something? Lu Yuanchao fed him with a spoon. After Lu Jiefeng drank a few sips, he gradually regained his appetite. He picked up the cup and drank it in one gulp. Then he licked his lips and said, Yuanchao, make me another cup. Why? Lu Yuanchao happily went to make malted milk. Cui Xiongwei, who was lying on the bed next to him, was almost dead. The aroma stimulated his stomach to growl. He said weakly, Make me a cup too. Lu Yuanchao was about to refuse, but on second thought, he readily agreed. He opened Cui Xiongwei's malted milk and generously scooped out 8 spoonfuls, 6 of which he put into his own jar, and the remaining 2 spoonfuls were given to Cui Xiongwei to drink. Thank you. After drinking the fragrant and hot malted milk, Cui Xiongwei felt like he was alive again and was full of gratitude to Lu Yuanchao. Don't be polite, I'll make you another drink after you finish drinking. Lu Yuanchao grinned naively, earning 6 scoops for each flush. What a good deal. After Cui Xiongwei finished 1 cup, he was still not satisfied, so he asked Lu Yuanchao to make him another cup. As a result, he originally had half a can of malted milk, but now only half was left. Cui Xiongwei, who was kept in the dark, was extremely grateful to Lu Yuanchao and even felt guilty. He secretly decided that he would never call the 2 brothers governor of Hong Kong again. After drinking 2 cups of malted milk, Cui Xiongwei and Lu Jiefeng felt less uncomfortable. After another night's sleep, they both returned to normal. When the bugle sounded, they got out of bed in high spirits. As usual, Cui Xiongwei opened the can of malted milk and prepared to make a cup. Shoot! Why is there only this much malted milk left? Cui Xiongwei's eyes widened, staring in disbelief at the little malted milk left in the jar. He had clearly opened it only a few days ago, so there should be at least 2/3 left, but now not even a quarter of it was gone. Which jerk stole his drink? Malted milk wafted over, and Lu Yuanchao made 2 cups. There aren't many left, right? I forgot to buy some yesterday. Lu Jiefeng said a little regretfully. I have to rest for half a month next time, and I don't think the remaining malted milk will last. Also, drink it up, brother. Lu Yuanchao chuckled, drank it all in one breath, and glanced in Cui Xiongwei's direction, smiling with a particularly proud look. His clever brain is only slightly inferior to that of his elder sister-in-law and his brother. Cui Xiongwei figured it out quickly and glared at the 2 brothers with gritted teeth. Darn it. From now on, he will not only curse the governor of Hong Kong, but also curse that jerk. The 3 of them had breakfast. They went on patrol. Along the way, they were all thinking about the same thing. How can we let my sister-in-law, eldest brother, know that they killed a black monkey? However, phone calls would be monitored by the army and letters would be checked, so it was easy to be exposed. They racked their brains and finally came up with a safe way. Sister-in-law, Yuan Chao and I have been eating well recently, so we cooked 2 special meals. After returning from patrol, Lu Jiefeng made a phone call to report, his tone particularly excited. Wan Qiqi blinked. There was no need to be so excited about cooking 2 special meals. This idiot must have something else to say. What did you eat? Beef stew. It's from the money my sister-in-law gave me last time. Yuan Chao and I were on our day off yesterday, so we went out to eat. Lu Jiefeng didn't dare to say it too clearly for fear of arousing suspicion. He secretly prayed that his sister-in-law could understand him and then give them the reward money. Were both meals eaten yesterday? Wan Qiqi asked meaningfully. Right. Lu Jiefeng nodded vigorously. He knew that his sister-in-law understood. From now on, he and his brother would not have to worry about going hungry anymore. You and Yuan Chao are still young, so you really need to keep up with your nutrition. How about this? The dried leeches you sent last time are very good. I have a friend who takes medicine all year round, and the prescription includes dried leeches. The ones you catch are better than those in the pharmacy. Catch more next time, and I'll pay you. We'll go catch leeches when we take a break, and we'll definitely get them all clean. Be careful and don't get bitten by leeches. Yes, we are very careful. Between the uncle and the sister-in-law, they all envied brother Lu Jiefeng for having such a good sister-in-law. It was just about catching some leeches, but she gave him so many instructions and warnings. No wonder the elder sister-in-law is like a mother. Cui Xiongwei was also calling his elder brother. Brother, I was resting yesterday and went out for a walk. On the way, I encountered a dark snake that wanted to bite me, and I killed it. Didn't you bring the snake back to stew? It stinks, I can't eat it. Big brother, tell Dad not to call me a loser anymore. I didn't embarrass Commander Cui. Cui Xiongwei's voice became choked, and his eyes were a little red. He was scolded as a coward by his own father every day. No matter how good-tempered he would still be annoyed. If he can kill one black monkey, he can kill a second and a third one. In the future, he will definitely impress his father. Brother Cui on the other end of the phone was listening nonchalantly, but when he heard these words his expression suddenly became stern, and he realized something was wrong. Xiaolu was afraid of snakes. There were many snakes and insects on the border, so Xiaolu must have been used to it. It was impossible to make such a grand ceremony to kill a snake. Thinking of the last phone call, Brother Cui clenched his teeth. The little jerk must have sneaked across the line. Dad is just talking, he actually cares about you the most. Be careful when you catch snakes next time, don't let them bite you back. Brother Cui gave earnest instructions.
He doesn't care about me.
Brother, I'm dead. Please ask Mom to send me some more money. I've run out of money. Cui Xiongwei curled his lips. The old man wished he didn't have a son like him. He had 3 older brothers and 2 older sisters. All of them were good people. Only he brought shame to the old man. How could the old man care about him? But he was still very happy, because he knew that his eldest brother understood and would definitely tell the old man. If the old man called him a coward again in the future, he would not bear it so aggrievedly. Snort. After hanging up the phone, Brother Cui called his comrades on the southwest border directly and soon learned that 2 soldiers from the neighboring country's border garrison were missing yesterday. It was said that they went to the town to play during their break and did not come back until late at night. Someone in the town saw them leaving with 3 women. One of the women was fair-skinned and beautiful, and the other 2 were tall and strong, probably servants. These 2 men might have been obsessed with love and wanted to use the beautiful women, so they were killed by the 2 servants. The woman had such fair skin, she must be a local upper-class person, so even if she killed someone, she wouldn't have to pay with her life. Brother Cui asked about the beautiful woman's height and appearance, and the more he listened, the more he thought she looked like his troublesome Xiaolu. When Xiaolu was a child, she wore a flowery dress and was prettier than foreign girls. You little jerk, you quite brave. Brother Cui cursed with gritted teeth, but there was a smile in his eyes. If the old man knew, he would definitely be very happy. Another person who called the Southwest Military Region was Lu Yi. It was Wan Qiqi who asked him to do so. Lu Yi knows about the same thing as Brother Cui. After listening to this, Wan Qiqi understood that the 2 tall and strong maids must be the Lu Jiefeng brothers in disguise. These 2 idiots finally grew some brains.
It was a very good job.
Wan Qiqi went to send the money the next day. If she wanted the horse to run fast, she had to feed it well. Anyway, she had no shortage of money. In the blink of an eye, it was mid-November, and Lu Yi brought back another piece of news. Shi Dahong is dead. Update after midnight. Go to sleep first and read it during the day. Shi Dahong died in his own home by shooting himself. In addition to the small notebook that Lu Yi handed over, Jiang Liming also found other evidence of Shi Dahong's corruption. He gave face to Commander Yang and did not hand it over directly but gave the evidence to Yang Xinhua and said one sentence, Shi Dahong killed my brother, one life for another otherwise. The rest of the words, Yang Xinhua understood them. There were several things in that small notebook that were in his house, including the vase his wife used to arrange flowers, the Wang Wali table in his study, and the watches worn by his wife and daughter. Before seeing the little notebook, Yang Xinhua always thought that the vase and the Wang Wali table were really bought by his wife for 50 cents. There are also the watches worn by his wife and daughter. He always thought they were ordinary models, but he didn't expect that they were foreign brand-name watches, all given by Shi Dahong. If Jiang liming hands in this little notebook, his competitors will definitely make a big fuss about it. It won't be a big problem, but it will be very troublesome. Yang Xinhua really doesn't want to deal with these trivial matters, and he doesn't want to be held responsible by his competitors. Yang Xinhua did not hesitate for too long. He called Shi Dahong and talked with him for an hour. After returning home, Shi Dahong locked himself in the study and committed suicide late at night. He also left a letter of confession. If he dies, Yang Xinhua will definitely protect his wife and children, otherwise their family will have a hard time. But Mo Jinsong will definitely have a hard time. Wan Qiqi's tone was one of gloating. That little notebook was submitted in the name of Mo Jinsong. Yang Xinhua and Shi Dahong are brothers-in-law and have a very good relationship. When beating a dog, you have to look at its owner. Mo Jinsong had messed with Shi Dahong, so he gave Yang Xinhua even less face. With Mo chauffing around, Yang Xinhua wouldn't dare do anything to Mo Jinsong, but he could block this guy's future unless Mo Jinsong was transferred to other military regions. But he would have to start all over again, and all his previous efforts would be in vain. Mo Jinsong would definitely be furious. For someone like him who is only interested in climbing up the social ladder, ruining his future is more serious than taking his life. Let's ignore them from now on and live our own lives.
Ruan cici patetluye ise şov der.
She didn't want Lu Yi to live in resentment forever. Even if the past was painful, he should try to forget it. Hating someone is actually more exhausting than loving him, her. She hopes that Lu Yi will spend the rest of his life in love, loving her, loving their baby, and loving their entire family. Well, forget about them.
Luye nottet.
He didn't hate anything at all now because he was happier than anyone else. He would become happier and happier in the future. He would no longer have such a nasty thing as resentment. Qiqi, what are we having for dinner? Would you like to eat leech stew? Wan Qiqi was joking, saying that the big bag of dried leeches that Shahanhan sent had not been eaten yet. If you eat, I'll eat too. Lu Yi smiled. He knew Qiqi would definitely not eat it. Wan Qiqi glared and went to cook, making a large table of dishes to celebrate Shi Dahong's death. Braised pork trotters, native chicken stewed with dried mushrooms, Yongzhou blood duck, and stir-fried vegetables were delivered to Yin Lia's house as usual. During this period, she had a few more magic wands, bone whips, and candlesticks, all of which were made by Yin Lia working overtime. Just when I was halfway through my meal, there was a knock on the door. It's me. The person knocking on the door was Mo Jinsong. Wan Qiqi frowned slightly and guessed Mo Jinsong's purpose. This guy is very smart. He must have guessed that the small notebook was handed in by them. Is he here to settle the score? Lu Yi didn't want to get up, so he stretched out his foot to hook the door lock and opened it. Mo Jinsong was standing at the door. He came in without being invited and closed the door behind him, as casually as if he was at home. I haven't eaten yet. Do you mind giving me a pair of bowls and chopsticks? Mo Jinsong asked with a smile. Not at all like he was here to settle a score. Mind. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi said in unison. Then I have to apologize. I haven't had lunch yet, and I'm very hungry. Mo Jinsong smiled, went to get the bowl and chopsticks, filled a large bowl of rice, and sat down to eat. This blood duck is delicious. My sister-in-law's cooking skills have improved again. Mo Jinsong was probably really hungry. He only praised once from beginning to end, and spent the rest of the time eating. He ate 3 bowls of rice in a row, and ate a lot of vegetables. Lu Yi cleared the dishes and went out to wash them, without glaring at Mo Jinsong from beginning to end. Wan Qiqi sat there without moving, waiting for this guy to speak. Mo Jinsong first took a toothpick and picked his teeth slowly, then went to make a cup of tea, drank it while blowing on it, and after taking a few sips, he finally spoke. I wasn't sure at first, but now I am. From the time I entered the door until now, Xiaoyi has not glared at me. His mentality is very peaceful, which means that he has let go of his resentment towards me. You submitted the small notebook in my name, right? You think too much. Wan Qiqi didn't dare to say too much. Mo Jin-song was very good at talking, and he would fall into a trap while talking. It was better to say less. But she still admired this guy very much. He was really smart and guessed the truth almost exactly. Mo Jin-song smiled slightly and stopped talking about this matter. Instead, he started talking about other things. I will be working somewhere else soon. Jiao Jiao is a simple girl. If she needs help from you, please help her. I will come back to thank you later. Is that okay? No, we don't have such a good relationship. Wan Qiqi refused. She didn't want to have anything to do with Mo Jinsong's family at all, and Xiong Jiaojiao's parents were both in Tanzhou and held high positions, so she didn't need help from anyone else. She couldn't understand what Mo Jinsong was up to, so she simply refused everything. I am self-righteous. I hope our relationship will be better next time we meet. Mo Jinsong smiled and stood up. You are so self-righteous again.
Goodbye.
I won't see you off. Wan Qiqi sat there without moving. She probably guessed Mo Jinsong's purpose, which was to act pitiful, and she would not be fooled. Although you don't welcome me, to me, you and Ono will always be my family. I hope that one day we can reconcile. Mo Jinsong spoke in a particularly emotional way. If it were anyone else, they would have been moved to tears. But Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi were not ordinary people, so they remained indifferent, looking at him as if they were watching a monkey show. I'm leaving now. I have one more thing to tell you. Aunt Yuan has filed for a divorce, and my father has already signed it. Despite being treated coldly one after another, Mo Jinsong was not embarrassed at all. He still smiled and told the latest news. If it rains, let it rain. If my mother wants to marry, let her marry. Wan Qiqi's tone was indifferent. This result was within her expectations. She shouted to Mo Jinsong, who was still in the room. Why don't you leave? I don't provide midnight snacks here. Mo Jinsong, who had a very calm mentality, was also a little embarrassed. He touched his nose, smiled, and left. Lu Yi came in with the washed dishes. What is he doing here? He just talked a lot of nonsense. Just act pitiful and ignore him. Wan Qiqi curled her lips and didn't feel any sympathy for Mo Jinsong at all. The causes planted in childhood will lead to the current results. She and Lu Yi are still very kind and only gave him a slight punishment. Will Mo Jinsong go to the Yangqing military region? His father-in-law has connections there.
Lu'ye analiz edek çitetli.
No, he doesn't even want his own father's connections, so why would he want his father-in-law's? Wan Qiqi felt that it was impossible. Although Mo Jinsong appeared kind on the surface, he was actually very arrogant. He only wanted to climb to the top of the mountain by himself and would not rely on help from others. End of the month, she received a call from brother Lu Jiefeng. Sister-in-law, do you know who is here? You will never guess it. Lu Jiefeng said in surprise.
Moon Tak Jinsong?
Wan Qiqi guessed it immediately. Sister-in-law, how did you guess that? It's really Mo Fox. I saw him today. He is the new political commissar. Lu Jiefeng's tone was full of worship. He hadn't said anything yet, but his sister-in-law had guessed it. How could he be so smart? Don't let him know that you caught leeches. Wan Qiqi was not very reassured, mainly because she did not have much confidence in the brother's IQ. Mo Jinsong is more cunning than a fox. Even if the Lu Jiefeng brothers put their 10 heads together, they are still no match for him. We haven't been out catching leeches recently. 2 people have gone missing across the street. It's been a commotion every day. We have to increase patrols. We're very busy. Lu Jiefeng felt a little annoyed. If he had known, he would not have dumped the body so secretly that day. As a result, the black monkey still hasn't found the body yet. Every day, they have to mobilize a large number of people to look for the body. Several times they have found it here. Their company had to increase patrols, and they haven't had a rest for a long time. There are so many ferocious beasts over there. You might get eaten by wild beasts. Don't go out recently. Safety comes first. Wan Qiqi solemnly warned that the other side would definitely not let it go after 2 people died, and these 2 idiots should not be so ignorant of their own limitations and let themselves be caught by the other side. Although the 2 idiots didn't look that good, the people over there didn't even let go of lizards and were extremely cruel. She couldn't imagine how miserable the two idiots would be if they fell into those people's hands.
No.
Lu Jiafeng agreed obediently. Even if the sister-in-law didn't remind him, he wouldn't be so bold as to deliver it to the door. After a while, when the rumors died down, they would go back and kill the black monkey and earn the bonus. Last time we slaughtered two, my sister-in-law sent me 200 yuan. Each fish is worth 100 yuan. This deal is really a good deal. Hanging up the phone, Wan Qiqi pushed the bicycle and prepared to ride back to the compound. Today is Friday and she was supposed to work tomorrow, but she asked for leave. The school is very easy to talk to now, and no matter when she asks for leave, it always goes through the green light and has never been stuck. He Aihong stood at the window, watching Wan Qiqi ride away on her bike. She felt more jealous than a jar of vinegar. She really couldn't understand why the organization would treasure Wan Qiqi, who was lazy and always skipped classes to avoid labor. However, she only dared to complain in her heart and did not dare to show it on her face, for fear that Wan Qiqi would cast a curse on her. Wan Qiqi rode out of the school gate. She saw Zhang Weihong, who was wearing a purple woolen coat and black trousers. He looked very fashionable and was completely different from before. "How come you have time to come to see me?" Wan Qiqi stopped the car and asked with a smile. "I have something to tell you. I'll treat you to a meal?" Zhang Weihong smiled, but the smile was a little forced, and she seemed to be in a bad mood. "Come to my house and eat." Wan Qiqi invited her home for dinner, and Zhang Weihong agreed. When crossing the ferry, Zhang Weihong suddenly said, "Your mother-in-law is divorced, did you know?" "I just found out a while ago." "How did you know?" Wan Qiqi actually guessed it. She felt a little contemptuous of Yuan Huilan and was too impatient. Zhang Weihong sneered. "I'll tell you when I get back. Are too many people outside, and it's not convenient to talk." After returning to the compound, Wan Qiqi and Zhang Weihong cooked together. When the meal was almost ready, Lui came back and brought a friend with him. The friend was in his 30s, had an honest face, and was shy to talk to female comrades. "Zheng Ji, my brother who will live and die with me." Lui introduced his friend, and he kept praising his wife's delicious cooking in front of Zheng Ji. Zheng Ji was so greedy that he followed him to eat for free. "Hello, sister-in-law." "Hello." Greeting Wan Qiqi, Zheng Ji looked natural, but when facing Zhang Weihong, he stuttered, lowered his head, and dared not look her in the eye.
Hello, I'm Zhang Weihong.
Zhang Weihong was very generous and took the initiative to shake hands with him. After shaking hands, Zheng Ji's face turned even redder. Lui found it funny and asked him quietly, "Do you like her?"
No.
"Nothing like that. Don't talk nonsense." Zheng Ji denied it flatly, but his flushed face betrayed his thoughts. "It's okay if you don't like it. I was trying to make some connections." Lui teased him deliberately. Zheng Ji got anxious when he heard it and whispered, "It's not that I don't like him, but Comrade Zhang doesn't have a partner?" "No, divorced, no children, from Beijing, nice person." Lui told the truth about Zhang Weihong's situation. Zheng Ji's eyes lit up. Lui said that she was a nice person, so this girl must be quite good. No wonder he was so greedy these past 2 days and insisted on coming to eat with her. "Isn't this the will of Yu Lao?" Lu Yi and Zheng Ji were whispering in the room, while Wan Qiqi and Zhang Weihong were whispering in the corridor. "Your mother-in-law is very clever. She bewitched my father, and he has been obsessed with her for more than 20 years. No wonder she has never been nice to my mother. As soon as my mother died, she couldn't wait to marry Yuan Huilan. How shameless." Zhang Weihong said this while gritting her teeth. Yesterday, she received a call from her father, asking her to have dinner at Xiangjiang Hotel and saying that he would introduce her to a very important person. She did not think much about it at the time and thought it was an old friend of her father. But after she went to the hotel, she found out that the very important person was Yuan Huilan. My father also said that he was about to marry Yuan Huilan. When she and Mo Tsongrong were dating, they went to Mo's house for dinner. Yuan Huilan treated her very badly and even privately advised her to break up with Mo Tsongrong. The implication of her words was that she was too old and not worthy of Mo Tsongrong. Zhang Weihong has never had a good impression of Yuan Huilan, and now she is extremely disgusted with her. A selfish woman who can be so cruel and ignore even her own son, and who is still having an affair with her father even though she knows her mother is still dead, is so disgusting. Zhang Weihong felt heartbroken for her mother. She did not receive love from her father when she was young, and after she got married, she still did not receive care from her husband. Her mother's life was a tragedy. The people who caused this tragedy were her grandfather and father, and now there is Yuan Huilan. I cursed Yuan Huilan in a very bad way yesterday, calling her a vulgar woman who only wanted to climb up the social ladder. When Uncle Lu got into trouble, she turned around and married Uncle Mo. Now that my father is of a higher rank than Uncle Mo, she married my father without hesitation. Humph, when my father gets into trouble in the future, she will definitely try to climb up the social ladder again. Zhang Weihong's voice was low, but still full of hostility, which showed how angry she was. You don't live with them anyway, so out of sight, out of mind. Wan Qiqi agreed with Zhang Weihong's summary. Yuan Huilan was such a person. In her first 2 marriages, she was lucky, and the men she married were both pretty good, but this time, Yuan Huilan made a mistake. Zhang Zigua is now enjoying great success, but it is only temporary. Yuan Huilan can only enjoy 5 years of good life at most. When Zhang Zigua is in trouble, she will be unlucky too. I'm just heartbroken for my mom. Even if they get married next year, I won't be this angry. Zhang Weihong was indignant, as it had not even been 100 days since her mother passed away. Your mother may not care at all. Don't be angry. Bring the dishes in and prepare to eat. Wan Qiqi felt that Zhang's mother might not care. When she was alive, she was probably already disappointed with her husband Zhang Zigua. Such a result should be within Zhang's mother's expectations. Zhang Weihong sighed lightly, brought the dishes into the house, and was soon healed by the delicious food. After the meal, she felt much better. Zheng Ji happened to pass by Zhang Weihong's unit on his way back, so he volunteered to take her home. Wan Qiqi saw Zheng Ji's thoughts but did not point them out, and just let things take their course. Soon it was December, and Lu Dixing returned to the military region, still serving as the commander, and Mo Qiufeng as the political commissar. What was different from the past was that both of them were single. Tanzhou welcomed its first snow in December. The snow was not heavy, and the snow on the road melted quickly. Only a thin layer of snow accumulated on the eaves. When the sun came out, the snow melted quickly, and the eaves dripped like rain. Although the sun was out, the melted snow made it even colder. People on the street were wrapped up tightly, especially the children, who wore hats, scarves, and gloves and looked like cotton balls, which was very cute. Wan Qiqi was afraid of the cold, so she wrapped herself up tightly. It was the weekend again, so she stewed a big pot of pork trotters and soybeans in the evening and went to see Lu Dixing with Lu Yi. This doesn't count, I'll play again. Lu Dixing's loud voice came out. Don't regret your move. This is your 3rd time. Mo Qiufeng spoke in a gentle and unhurried tone. Mine hasn't fallen yet, so it doesn't count. Lu Dixing proudly raised the chess piece in his hand and moved it to a new position. Mo Qiufeng smiled and directly moved the chess player to the checkmate, ending the game. In fact, he could have won in just 3 minutes, but the next game had the same result, so he was too lazy to end it, and the game dragged on for more than 10 minutes. If Lu Dixing hadn't always regretted his moves, he could have dragged it on for another hour. Unconvinced, Lu Dixing stared at the chessboard with his eyes wide open, but he couldn't find any flaws in Mo Qiufeng's chess. He had definitely defeated him. Moreover, he discovered that Mo Qiufeng could have defeated him 10 minutes ago. Who are you looking down on? If you can be a general, why don't you do it? You are being disrespectful to your opponent. Try again. Lu Dixing argued confidently and clamored for a rematch. If you keep doing this, you won't get any results tomorrow. Go cook.
I'm hungry.
Mo Qiufeng touched his stomach. If it wasn't for the free meal, he wouldn't bother to play chess with that bad chess player. He was proficient in music, chess, calligraphy, painting, military tactics, and warfare, but the only thing he couldn't do was cook. Although the food Lu Dixing cooked was not delicious, it was not bad either, at least better than what he cooked. boiled noodles and fried 2 eggs for you. Do you want some? Lu Dishing stood up and asked in a rough voice. I'm not picky when it comes to eating. Mo Chiufeng is very easy to talk to. People who eat for free have no right to be picky. As long as there is something to eat, it's fine. Seeing him being so useless, Lu Dishing couldn't help but complain. Why are you doing this? Yuan Huilan will definitely not divorce you if you don't sign. She is so proud that she wants to be the first in picking cotton. You actually signed first and embarrassed her. It would be strange if she didn't get angry with you. She has made up her mind. There is no need to keep her. It is better to end it as soon as possible. Mo Chiufeng smiled calmly. Things that are forced are meaningless. After all the twists and turns, she finally married Zhang Zigua. Lu Dishing shook his head and went to the kitchen to cook noodles. Mo Chiufeng smiled, but his smile was a little cold because he knew that Zhang Zigua's glory would not last many years. But he would not remind Yuan Huilan. Even if he did, Yuan Huilan would not believe it. There was no need to waste time. Mo Chiufeng had a self-deprecating look on his face. When he was lurking, he was thankful for his sobriety. Now he finally understood that being too sober and rational would eventually lead to being alone. In a confused state is the most self-consistent way.
Dad, Montag.
Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi entered the house. Have you eaten yet? Mo Chiufeng asked with a smile, but his eyes were fixed on the pot in Lu Ye's hand.
Ever eaten?
This is pig's feet stewed with soybeans. Eat it while it's hot. Wan Qiqi placed a large pot of pork trotters and soybeans on the table and opened the lid. A rich aroma floated out with the hot steam. Mo Chiufeng took a deep breath and called to the kitchen, Old Lu, cook more noodles. Lu Dishing ran out wearing an apron, shouting, My food doesn't cost money? How much food have you eaten here? Stewed pig's feet? Incessant chattering was interrupted by the aroma of pork trotters stewed with soybeans. Lu Dishing, with a smile on his face, decisively gave up cooking noodles and decided to stew rice and fry some peanuts. Such delicious food must be paired with a glass of wine. Go, bring your mitai over. Lu Dishing rudely ordered Mo Chiufeng that he couldn't bear to drink his own mitai, but he wouldn't feel bad drinking other people's. Let's fry another plate of bacon. Xiaoye, hurry up and get some wine. Mo Chiufeng didn't stand up, but asked Lu Dishing to add another dish and instructed Lu Yi to get some wine. Take 2 bottles, don't be polite to your uncle Mo. Lu Dishing roared. A few minutes later, Lu Yi brought back 2 bottles of wine, 1 bottle of mitai and 1 bottle of wuliangya, both of which were good wines. Lu Dishing was so happy that he couldn't wait to open the wine and fill the glasses for himself and Mo Chiufeng. Come, congratulations on your divorce. Congratulations. The two clinked their glasses and drank the wine in one gulp. Wan Qiqi came out with a plate of fried peanuts and happened to hear the toasts from the 2 people. The corners of her mouth twitched involuntarily, and her respect for Yuan Huilan deepened a little more. Although this woman is selfish and cold-hearted, her taste in choosing men is really great. Her ex-boyfriend and current boyfriend are all the best among men. Even if Zhang Zigua is not a good person, his ability and talent are definitely not bad, otherwise he would not have climbed to his current high position. Wan Qiqi put down the peanuts and went to fry a few dishes. There was good wine and good food. The 2 old men drank very happily and drank a bottle of mitai unknowingly. Lu Dishing wanted to open another wuliangya, but was stopped by Mo Chiufeng. It's just right to be slightly drunk. Being drunk is bad for your health. Let's eat. Mo Chiufeng drank a lot, and his cheeks turned red, but his eyes were still bright, indicating that he was very clear-headed. You are such a boring person.
You always look so dead.
No wonder Yuan Huilan said you are a machine without emotions. Lao Mo, the enemy has been driven away. It's time to relax. Lu Dishing patted Mo Chiufeng on the shoulders several times and persuaded him earnestly. I've gotten used to it. It's like when you hear the enemy attack, no matter how deep your sleep is, you will jump up and fight. It's ingrained in my bones, and there's no cure. Mo Chiufeng smiled slightly. His tone was calm, but there was also a sense of sadness that came from seeing through the world. Lu Dishing was stunned for a long time and sighed deeply, but He quickly pulled himself together and said loudly, "It doesn't matter if it can't be cured. The Southwest is not peaceful. There will be a war sooner or later. I can still go to the battlefield and kill those jerks. Lienpa's old. Can he still eat?" Lienpa would drop 3 pieces of feces after eating a meal. Mo Chiofeng suddenly started to talk, and he was so happy after he finished speaking. Lu Yi and Ruan Qiqi also covered their mouths and laughed. Only Lu Disheng didn't understand. But he knew that Mo Chiofeng must have not farted well. "What do you mean? Mr. Mo, are you scolding me?" Lu Disheng roared angrily. "No. I'm praising you for being as brave as Lienp." Mo Chiofeng explained seriously, and Lu Disheng looked pleased. He knew Lienpa, a very powerful general in ancient times. He said modestly, No, compared to him, I am still a little bit inferior. I told you you're stupid, but you still don't accept it. You can't even tell good from bad. Uncle Mo said you poop 3 times for every meal." Louis openly sowed discord, hoping that the world would be in chaos. The smile on Lu Disheng's face disappeared instantly, and he took a large bowl of pig's feet and said, "You're so mean, Mo Hussy. This is made by my daughter-in-law. I won't let you eat it." "Chi-Chi is also my daughter-in-law," Mo Chiofeng said calmly and moved the pig's foot back. "Yuan Huilan dumped you, no. That's called a peaceful divorce. Even if we get divorced, once a father, always a father. Xiao Yi will always be my son. You wish he's my son. Not only do I have a good idea, I also enjoy the food." Chi-Chi fried this bacon really well. It's delicious. The 2 old men, whose combined age was over 100 years old, were arguing like children. Lu Disheng was so angry that his face turned red, but Mo Chiofeng was always calm and not anxious at all. When Lu Disheng took away the pig's trotter, he ate the bacon. When Lu Disheng took away the bacon, he ate the pig's trotter, just like a cat playing with a mouse. He did it easily. The result was that Lu Disheng made so much noise that smoke came out of his throat, and he didn't eat many bites of the meat. Mo Chiofeng ate both the pig's trotter and the bacon, and he really enjoyed them. "You are so stupid. If you don't eat it now, Uncle Mo will eat it all." Lu Yi couldn't bear to watch and yelled at him without any respect. He was also glad that he didn't inherit the old man's stupidity. Lu Jiafeng and Lu Yuanchao were so stupid because they inherited it from the old man. "No need to fight, I'm full, all yours." Mo Chiofeng put down his chopsticks. He didn't have a big appetite and only ate until he was 70% full at night. He was just teasing Lu Disheng just now. It was quite fun. Lu Disheng glared at him and started eating with big mouthfuls. "Xiao Yi, can you make me a cup of tea?" Mo Chiofeng directed Lu Yi to work very naturally, his butt heavier than that of an elephant. Ruan Qiqi finally understood who Mo Jinsong looked like. This lazy habit of assigning people to do work must have been inherited from Mo Chiofeng. In fact, these 2 father and son are quite similar. They are both extremely smart, cunning, calm and rational, and a little cold. The word cold here is not a derogatory word. It means that after seeing through everything, one no longer forces anything. It mainly refers to family and friendship. This is the author's personal understanding. Lu Yi went to make tea, and also made a cup for Lu Disheng. "Uncle Mo, did you know that Mo Jinsong went to the border?" Ruan Qiqi asked. "I know. Without destruction, there is no construction. It's good to go to the border." Mo Chiofeng spoke in a calm tone, not surprised. Nothing that happened in Tanzhou and Jiangcheng could be hidden from him. The boss went to the border. He didn't say goodbye to him and he didn't ask, but he knew what the boss was thinking. He had no future in Jiangcheng and didn't want to go back to Tanzhou, so going to the border was the best choice. The constant conflicts on the border are not good for the people, but for the soldiers, they mean opportunities. If he were in the eldest son's position, he would also choose to go to the border. Jin Song went to the border? When did he go? Lu Disheng was very surprised. He had just returned and was not clear about many things. A while ago, they are now with the Liberation and Aid Korea. These 2 children are doing very well now. Mo Chiofeng spoke in a tone of praise. The Lu Jiafeng brothers had inherited their father's bravery. Lu Disheng was like this when he was young, rushing straight towards the artillery fire. It was just that this guy was lucky and had a long life. If it were anyone else, he would have died long ago. It's good to go to the border. Young people should go and try their luck. Lu Disheng didn't think much about it, thinking it was a normal transfer, and continued eating. Wan Qiqi and Lu Yi sat for a while and then left. The moon was very bright tonight, and the moonlight stretched the two people's shadows into long ones. Wan Qiqi suddenly laughed out loud. "What's wrong?" Lu Yi asked with concern. "Nothing." Wan Qiqi tried hard to hold back her laughter and shook her head. It wasn't that she didn't want to share, but that she couldn't say it, because she just suddenly thought of two men. They participated in a divorce variety show together in their previous life and both divorced their wives. As a result, the two men got together. In the fiercely competitive self-media track, they broke out an extremely niche track and left many excellent bloggers far behind. Our ancestors were right when they said, if you lose something in one place, you may gain something in another. Lu Disheng and Mo Qiufeng used to have a delicate relationship, but now that Yuan Huilan is no longer in the middle, they get along even better. This is what is called losing a guest in the hall and gaining a brother. Qiqi, tell me, what are you laughing at? Louis felt very itchy in his heart. He knew that his wife would not laugh for no reason. If he didn't ask clearly, he would not be able to sleep well at night. Laugh at your mother. You turned two unrelated men into good brothers. Wan Qiqi had no choice but to speak. She will definitely regret it later. Zhang Zigua is far inferior to the old man and Uncle Mo. Lu Yi is not optimistic about the marriage between Yuan Huilan and Zhang Zigua. The two of them walked downstairs to the family building. The weather was cold, and everyone in the building had gone to bed early. It was deserted downstairs, but there was a person standing under the street light, walking back and forth, looking like he was waiting for someone. Lu Yi had a smile on his face, but when he saw the person under the streetlight, the smile disappeared immediately. Because the person who came was Yuan Huilan, she was wearing a long black woolen coat, a hat and a scarf, and she looked much better than at the farm. Yuan Huilan looked up and saw them, with a look of surprise on her face, and walked towards them. "What are you doing here?" Lu Yi asked in a rough voice.
I
divorced your Uncle Mo." Yuan Huilan's face felt a little hot. In fact, she didn't know whether it was right or wrong to divorce Mo Qiufeng. If Mo Qiufeng had not signed so readily, she might not have left, but Mo Qiufeng signed without hesitation, and her heart was dead. Zhang Zigua was right. Mo Qiufeng had never had her in his heart. He was like a piece of ice, and she couldn't warm him up even after holding him for 20 years. So, she signed and accepted Zhang Zigua's proposal. She would return to Beijing tomorrow, and would come to see Lu Yi before leaving. "I know, and I also know that you're going to marry Zhang Zigua." Lu Yi's tone was cold and a little impatient. A look of discomfort flashed across Yuan Huilan's face. She took out an envelope from her coat pocket and handed it to him. "I'm going to the capital tomorrow, so I can't make the dumplings I owe you. Here are the food coupons and meat coupons, as well as some money. Go to the restaurant and have dumplings."
thank you.
Lu Yi took the envelope and thanked her politely, but his eyes were full of disappointment, and the admiration he had for Yuan Huilan had completely disappeared. He should have figured it out long ago. This woman had never loved him and only regarded him as a burden. Why should he force himself for maternal love? A look of panic flashed across Yuan Huilan's face as she noticed the change in her son, as if the rope that was pulling them together had suddenly broken. "When you come to the capital in the future, I will definitely provide you with food. How about this? I will ask your Uncle Zhang to transfer you to the capital." Yuan Huilan breathed a sigh of relief. The capital city was 100 times better than Tanzhou, so this could be considered as making up for what she had owed her son over the years. When you climb up the social ladder, you become arrogant. "Thank you. Tanzhou is great. I'm in Tanzhou, and I'm not going anywhere else. The dumplings you make are not tasty at all. It's better not to make them." Lu Yi's tone became colder and colder. Seeing the anger on Yuan Huilan's face, he felt very happy and said, "You have been married 3 times. I wish you a happy marriage. Don't get married for the 4th time." After saying that, he pulled Wan Qiqi upstairs. Yuan Huilan walked away with a gloomy face, and the guilt she had towards her son disappeared completely. It turned out to be Lu Dixing's child. Both father and son were equally annoying. When she went to the capital, she would definitely be very successful, 100 times better than in Tanzhou. Yuan Huilan, who was full of confidence in the future, boarded a flight heading north with Zhang Zhigua the next morning and left Tanzhou City. Wan Qiqi slept until noon before getting up. Lu Yi went to work and prepared breakfast for her. The lunchbox was wrapped in cotton cloth and stuffed into the quilt. It was still steaming when she opened it. A box of white porridge, 3 meat buns, and some side dishes, all of which she liked. Wan Qiqi got up and went to wash up. There were many people in the bathroom washing clothes and vegetables and chatting loudly about gossip. It was very lively. Come here. Everyone made room for her. Wan Qiqi smiled at them, poured hot water to brush her teeth, and listened to some gossip. The gossip these sisters-in-law talked about was very explosive. Did you know? Sang Qingfeng returned to her hometown a few days ago. A sister-in-law said mysteriously. No wonder we haven't seen her these days. She is 5 or 6 months old, right? Why did she go back home with such a big belly? Isn't it said that she has a bad relationship with her parents' family? Someone asked. She didn't go back to her parents' home. She went back to Captain Su's home. She, Captain Su, and Ji Xianglian are all from the same place. My hometown is also there. The woman who was speaking was Mrs. Lu, whose hometown was the same as Sang Qingfeng's. You said last time that Ji Xianglian's leg was broken. How is she now? She died last month, and her mother and sister collected the body. What a sin. Sister Lu sighed. Stop talking about this, and quickly tell me why Sang Qingfeng returned to her hometown. Lu Danny was eager to hear gossip, so she changed the topic back to the topic. Mrs. Lu looked around subconsciously, which was her habitual action when she gossiped about others, for fear of being heard. Sang Qingfeng has returned to her hometown. Hurry up and tell us. Everyone urged. She divorced her ex because she couldn't have children. The man's family was very wicked. They told everyone that Xiao Sang couldn't lay eggs. Everyone in the surrounding area knew about it and called Xiao Sang a barren woman. Her family also blamed her for bringing trouble to her younger siblings. The most wicked one was her ex-husband. He married her right after the divorce and gave birth to a big fat son 8 months later. He even deliberately invited Xiao Sang to the full-month banquet. Mrs. Lu's tone was very sympathetic. She gave birth to a cub at 8 months old. Is this cub wild? If he's alive or dead, he must be a jerk. Xiao Sang is now 5 or 6 months pregnant, which means it's her previous husband who can't lay eggs. If I were Xiao Sang, I would go to the previous husband's house with my big belly and beat drums to let everyone know that this wicked man can't lay eggs, is cuckolded, and is raising a jerk for someone else. Lu Danny can't tolerate any grain of sand in her eyes, and her words are full of hostility. Mrs. Lu slapped her thigh and said excitedly, You gave Xiao Sang this idea, didn't you? Xiao Sang did this when she returned to her hometown. She went to the front man's house every day. People in the surrounding area knew that it was the front man who couldn't lay eggs. Do you know what this man did? Stop keeping us in suspense, and tell us now. Everyone's appetite was whetted, and they urged in unison. The man beat up the current guest severely. The woman was not a good person either. She called the man a servant and said he would never have a son. She also said that she had done a great deed by bringing a son into the family. If she angered her, she would take the son and leave, leaving the man without any descendants. She scolded the man so much that he dared not even fart. Mrs. Lu spoke with disdain. That woman is right. No matter whose child it is, the fat son is always real. This man should thank his current cousin. Lu Danny said sarcastically. Xiao Sang is still too soft. She needs to learn from the guest now, and not be polite to men. Xiao Sang has finally gotten his reward after all the hardship he has endured. Things will get better and better in the future. Sang Qingfeng is very popular in the staff housing complex and has never quarreled with anyone. Everyone hopes that she can live a good life. Wan Qiqi listened with great interest. The washroom was indeed a great place to eat melons. Xiao Sana's belly is round. It's likely she'll give birth to a girl. The topic turned to what Sang Qingfeng gave birth to, and everyone guessed it was a daughter. It's good to have a daughter. It's exactly what Captain Su wants. Before Ji Xianglian divorced, she said Captain Su wanted a daughter. Was mentioned, everyone was silent for a few seconds. They didn't want to mention this person, as it was unlucky. Xiao Ruan, you introduced Wang Shuhua to this job, right? The woman who asked the question had an envious tone. Many sisters-in-law in the building did not have jobs arranged for them because they had no education and no skills, and there were no suitable jobs. They could only receive a living allowance of 5 yuan a month. Wang Shuhua used to be the same as them, but now she has transformed herself into a worker in a state-owned factory, and everyone is envious of her. Ruan Qiqi finished washing up and went home with the basin and thermos, hearing a series of quacking sounds behind her. Wang Shuhua is so lucky. Why is Miss Ruan so kind to her? I heard that Deputy Head Liu had eaten her dumplings before. Everyone fell silent again, wondering what kind of dumplings were they that could make Liu Yi so obsessed with them that he even offered him a job to repay the favor. Could it be that the filling was made of dragon meat? The sisters-in-law in the water room all dispersed, but they all had the idea of currying favor with Ruan Qiqi. After all, this Ruan's sister really gave them work. After returning home and having breakfast, Ruan Qiqi went to her space to watch some drama. Someone knocked on the door, so she had to leave. It was Wang Suihua, who came in. She had a flattering smile on her face and was carrying a basket covered with a cloth, so she couldn't see what was inside. I raised the duck myself. It has been slaughtered and plucked. The duck is very tender and is delicious when cooked in blood duck. Wang Suihua suppressed her grief and generously took out the slaughtered duck, cleaning it thoroughly, even washing the duck intestines and gizzards, and also giving it a bowl of fresh duck blood. Ruan Qiqi really liked eating duck, so she accepted it and even paid for it. I can't take the money. This is a gift from me to you. I treat you like my own sister. A duck is nothing. Eat it while it's fresh. Wang Suihua finished speaking. She snatched the basket and ran away, running very fast, as if there was a ghost chasing her. After running back home in one breath, Wang Suihua patted her chest in pain and said to herself, "You can't catch a wolf without sacrificing a child." Sister Ruan is happy with the ducks. Maybe she can arrange a job for me. As soon as she finished speaking, she suddenly thought of something, quickly covered her mouth, opened the door, and looked around, but found nothing unusual, so she felt relieved. She spoke so softly just now. Ruan Qiqi shouldn't have heard it, right? Ruan Qiqi, who was upstairs, walked to the window. A branch stretched out and conveyed Wang Suihua's movement. She couldn't help but laugh. No wonder they send ducks during any festival. It turns out it's for work. She still had 2 spots in her hand, so it would be fine to give one, but 1 duck was definitely not enough, and she would need a few more. The happy weekend ended quickly. On Monday morning, Ruan Qiqi went to school, had lunch, and returned to the dormitory for a nap, but found that someone had moved into Zheng Jingyun's empty bed. It was a sweet and quiet girl. She was about 20 years old, with 2 braided pigtails, wearing a flowered cotton jacket made of homespun cloth, and had very fair skin, looking a bit exotic.
Hello, I'm Xia Tao.
Let's study and improve together in the future. Xia Tao introduced herself generously and said that she was an educated youth from the frontier. You look like a minority from the border area, with big eyes, a high nose bridge, and very fair skin. You are extremely beautiful, Li Yuqin blurted out. After she finished speaking, she was afraid that Xia Tao would think she was being presumptuous, so she explained, "There is a Uyghur female colleague in our unit who looks like you. A lot of people say that, but I'm not Uyghur, I'm me." Xia Tao explained with a smile, and seemed to be an easygoing person. No wonder the Yi people also have big eyes and high noses. They are all pretty, but they are all very dark, not as white as you. Li Yuqin's unit, and they do look like foreigners. There are also white Yi people. My mother is quite white. I look like her. Xia Tao explained patiently, and had a very pleasant chat with Li Yuqin. In the past, He Hong would definitely take the initiative to chat with her new classmates, but with the experience of Zheng Jingyun, She no longer had any thoughts and just wanted to spend 2 years of college life in peace, so she just said hello and went to bed for a nap. Shang Wanqing nodded coldly and went to bed. Su Erfeng had no intention of making friends with her new classmates. After saying hello, she went to bed. She finally understood that Wan Qiqi and Shang Wanqing in the dormitory were not ordinary people. Zheng Jingyun must have done something wrong. That night, she and Li Yuqin were the only ones in the dormitory. After a long time, Zheng Jingyun and He Hong came back in a daze. Shang Wanqing and Wan Qiqi were fine. The next day, He Hong had a high fever. After the fever subsided, she seemed like a different person and no longer competed for the position of an official. A few days later, Zheng Jingyun disappeared mysteriously. Wan Qiqi and Shang Wanqing were very calm, but He Hong was even more obedient. When she saw Wan Qiqi, she was like a mouse seeing a cat. It was obvious that she knew that Zheng Jingyun's disappearance was related to Wan Qiqi. After careful analysis, Su Erfeng roughly guessed that Zheng Jingyun was an enemy spy and Wan Qiqi and Shang Wanqing were both government servants. Therefore, Shang Wanqing was the scorekeeper for every labor, and the class teacher took special care of her. And there is Wan Qiqi, who asks for leave every now and then, sometimes for a week at a time, and the school doesn't care. Su Erfeng knows her own limitations. She is just an ordinary farmer, and she has fought hard to be able to go to university, so she must mind her own business, graduate successfully, and then become a state official, earning 42 yuan a month. Workers, peasants, and soldiers who graduated in the 1970s would return to their hometowns after graduation and be assigned jobs. They received cadre salaries, which were higher than those of ordinary workers. Wan Qiqi glanced at the new classmate, nodded, then went to bed, pulled the bed curtains, and went to sleep. In the afternoon, Xia Tao went to class with them. She talked to Li Yuqin along the way, and also took the initiative to talk to Su Erfeng. Student Su, where are you from in Xiangxi? Maybe we are from the same hometown. Xiangxi is so big, we shouldn't be in the same place. Su Erfeng mentioned the name of her hometown, and Xia Tao was pleasantly surprised. What a coincidence, we are really from the same hometown. My family is in the county town, but my grandmother's family is in the commune next to yours, called Xingzailing Commune. Did you know that? Of course I know. I have a cousin who married to Xingzailing. Maybe I know your grandparents. Su Erfeng was very surprised. She didn't expect that she was really from the same hometown as Xia Tao. She also let down her guard against Xia Tao. Her hometown was in a mountain village. If she was not a local, she would definitely not know Xingzailing.
Xia Tao should be fine, right?
My grandpa passed away before liberation, and my grandma also passed away last year.
I was raised by my grandma.
We were separated when I went to school in the city, but I would go back to live with my grandma during the holidays. Talking about her grandmother, Xia Tao looked gloomy and sad. Su Erfeng looked embarrassed and didn't know how to comfort her. It seemed like nothing she said would be appropriate, so she just remained silent. Nothing. My grandmother passed away peacefully. She was very blessed. I've been to your Xinyu commune and I know there's a very famous person there. It's said that she was engaged 3 times, and all 3 of her fiancés had accidents. 1 died, and 2 were disabled. This girl was engaged for the 4th time, but the next day after the engagement, her fiancé went up the mountain to chop wood and was bitten by a snake. Fortunately, it was a 5-step snake, and the village had snake medicine, so she was saved, but she lost her thumb. Xia Tao was very talkative and talked about the gossip about Su Erfeng's hometown. Li Yuqin listened with great interest. Even Wan Qiqi and the others were attracted and slowed down their pace. Only Su Erfeng's expression became more and more serious. She pursed her lips and said nothing. This girl is lucky. Fortunately, she didn't marry him. Otherwise, she would either be a widow or a disabled person. He Hong's expression was serious. Her tone was sincere. Su Erfeng glanced at her with a look of surprise. Li Yuqin hesitated to speak. What she actually wanted to say was that this girl was really unlucky. Her 4 fiancés all met with accidents one after another. It couldn't be a coincidence. But no matter how stupid she was, she would not say it in front of so many people. This is feudal superstition. Did this girl marry her fourth fiancé? Li Yuqin asked curiously. No. The fourth fiancé refused to marry her, but the girl refused to give up. The two families were in a stalemate. Last year when I went home to visit my relatives, my mother mentioned it. I don't know what the situation is now. Xia Tao said. I quit. The girl came to college. Su Erfeng suddenly responded in a calm voice. Where did that girl go to college? Erfeng? Li Yuqin reacted quickly and looked at Su Erfeng embarrassedly. It's me. Walk faster. I'm going to be late. Su Erfeng smiled and quickened her pace to walk ahead. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have mentioned this. Xia Tao was very upset. Erfeng is not a petty person and won't care about it. After comforting her, Li Yuqin went to chase Su Erfeng. Seeing that she was very calm, she felt relieved. The first one had tuberculosis and wanted to get engaged to me for good luck, but he died because it didn't happen. The second one was an old bachelor who had an affair with another man. He was caught climbing the wall at night and broke his leg. The third one was a village scoundrel. He was chased by a dog while stealing chickens and fell into a pond. He almost drowned, but he became a fool when he was rescued. The fourth one was a real fool. His father was the team leader. Su Erfeng calmly talked about her 4 marriages. None of them was her own will. They were all arranged by her parents without their permission. They just wanted the dowry given by the men so that they could marry their sons. In the past, she was submissive. Her parents and brothers treated her like a beast of burden and calculated how much she could be sold for. She was also rumored to be a jinx, and no one wanted to play with her for fear of being unlucky. It was obviously their own fault, why blame her? So she decided to resist. She firmly opposed the 4th marriage and broke off the engagement. Even though her parents agreed, she insisted on getting married. Since she had the reputation of being a jinx, she had to make good use of it. She went to the team leader's house every day to cry, make a fuss, and even threaten to hang herself. No one dared to persuade her, for fear of being affected by her bad luck. God also helped her. The team leader's family was particularly unlucky during that period. The team leader would fall over when he walked around the house. His wife grew white hair while pickling vegetables, the chicken stopped laying eggs, the pig stopped eating, and the dogs stopped barking at night. The captain's family was terrified and determined to cancel the engagement. In this way, she got the opportunity to go to college. The captain originally wanted to arrange this place for his own daughter, but he had to give it to Su Erfeng first in exchange for Taiping's family. It's good now, and it will get better and better in the future. Li Yuqin sniffed a few times. She didn't expect that Su Erfeng, who seemed cheerful and optimistic, had suffered such a great injustice. She felt so distressed. Definitely. Su Erfeng is full of confidence in the future, and she will definitely live a better and better life. Wan Qiqi looked at Xia Tao in front of her thoughtfully. She always felt that this woman mentioned Su Erfeng deliberately to prove that she and Su Erfeng were from the same place. Let Manzai come over tomorrow and smell whether this woman has any bad smell. The appearance of Xia Tao caused quite a stir in the class. There were more boys than girls in the electrical automation class, and female classmates were a rare commodity. There were 6 of them before, but after Zheng Jingyun's accident, there were only 5. Then, among these 5 female classmates, Wan Qiqi and Li Yuqin are both married. He Hong only wants to become an official. Sheng Guanqing is cold and aloof, and her aura is stronger than all the male classmates in the class combined, and no boy dares to talk to her. There was only Su Erfeng left. She seldom talked to the male classmates and did not team up with them when working. She was a bit distant. Now there was a sweet-looking, lively, and outgoing girl named Xia Tao, who made the boys in the class very happy. After 4 classes in the afternoon, Xia Tao became friends with the boys in the class. Xia, you've missed a lot of classes. I'll lend you these notes. Xia, if you have any questions, just ask me. I will definitely explain everything I know. During the break, several male classmates surrounded Xia Tao and were very attentive. Thank you. I was worried that I couldn't keep up with the course. I'm sorry to bother you later. There are indeed many things I don't understand. Xia Tao's smile became sweeter and sweeter. She did not refuse any of the male classmates' advances. She was very considerate, and every male classmate felt that she had a good impression of them. Seeing Xia Tao being the center of attention among the male classmates, He Aihong's brows tightened more and more. She couldn't help it any longer and stood up and shouted, "Class is about to start. Hurry back to your seats." Several male classmates reluctantly returned to their seats, still offering their courtesy. "Xia classmate, I will take you to the cafeteria for dinner after school. You may not know how to get to the cafeteria, right? Student Li Wei, I will take student Xia to the cafeteria." He Aihong's tone was very serious. Li Wei shut up in dismay, secretly cursing He Aihong for meddling in his affairs, but he didn't dare to argue. After all, He Aihong was a D member and he was not, and the consequence of an argument would definitely be that he would be criticized. Xia Tao smiled sweetly at him and said silently, "Thank you." Li Wei's depressed mood suddenly brightened up. He grinned and felt that Xia Tao must like him. He asked Xia Tao to go boating in the park this weekend. When He Aihong saw the little actions of these two people, her brows were twisted into a frown, and she decided to have a good talk with Xia Tao. She is the secretary of the Youth League Committee of the class and shares a dormitory with Xia Tao. Although she is not the dormitory head, she always holds herself to the standards of a dormitory head, so she must take care of this matter. For classes in the afternoon, it was already dark outside. The north wind was howling, blowing on people's faces. It felt like a knife cutting, very painful. "It's so cold. I want a bowl of hot soup." Li Yuqin thought the north wind was too cold, so she asked Su Erfeng to support her while she walked backwards. "Hurry up, if you're late the soup will be gone." Su Erfeng quickened her pace. She also wanted to drink a bowl of hot radish and bone soup. Even though there were more radishes than bones, drinking a bowl of soup in the cold winter would make her whole body warm, and she felt very comfortable. "Here it comes." Li Yuqin turned around and walked with her neck hunched. She saw Xia Tao in front of her. She was wearing thin clothes, and not even wearing a scarf. She was walking in front of her with her neck held high. "Xia Tao, aren't you cold wearing so little?" Li Yuqin chased after her, touched her body, then touched her pants, and screamed in surprise. It was such a cold day, but Xia Tao was still wearing only pants, not even long underwear, and her clothes were not thick. Li Yuqin wanted to wrap herself in a 10-pound quilt. If she only wore this little, she would definitely freeze to death. "It's not cold. I'm used to it." Xia Tao smiled and looked energetic. She was really not afraid of the cold. "I am most afraid of the cold. No matter how much I wear, I still feel cold. At home, I want to lie on the stove. You don't know how much I envy the Kangs in the north. It's comfortable to sleep on a warm kong."
Li Yuqin siga.
At home she could warm herself by the fire and sleep with her husband in her arms at night. But at school she could only sleep alone on a cold bed. She put 3 hot water bottles, but it was still very cold. When she woke up in the morning, the quilt was ice cold. "I see you have plenty of blood and energy. Why are you so afraid of the cold?" Xia Tao asked jokingly. "I am like a red lacquered toilet bowl with a shiny surface. My husband often says that I look like I can kill a tiger, but in fact I can't even kill a mouse. I am useless." Li Yuqin teased herself half-jokingly. A few of them chatted and laughed as they went to the cafeteria and ordered a bowl of hot radish and bone soup. After drinking the soup, their bodies immediately felt warm. "Finally, I'm alive." After drinking the last mouthful of soup, Li Yuqin sighed exaggeratedly. Xia Tao was sitting opposite her. She smiled slightly when she heard that, then lowered her head and continued to drink the soup. She didn't seem to like the radish and bone soup very much. She drank it in small sips, and there was still a lot left after drinking for half a day. "You don't like this soup?" Wan Qiqi asked. "I like it, but the amount given is too much." Xia Tao explained with a smile, and in order to prove that she liked drinking soup, she drank the soup faster and finished it quickly. Wan Qiqi glanced at her and got up to get some food. Stuffed tofu, fried bacon with white peppers, stir-fried vegetables, and 3 tails of rice, a full lunch box. Xia Tao also prepared some food. including cold shredded kelp and fried chicken with peppers, and 2 tails of rice. Eating cold kelp shreds in such a cold weather? Aren't you afraid of getting a stomachache? Liu Qin was so surprised. She thought that people should eat hot food in such a cold day. Cold dishes are only enjoyable in summer. I like to eat. Xia Tao explained patiently, picked up a large chopstick of kelp shreds and ate them. She nodded while eating and covered her mouth with her hands. She looked very enjoyable. It was obvious that she really liked eating cold kelp shreds. Wan Qiqi squinted her eyes. The action of covering her mouth and closing her eyes was very similar to the female food streamers in Sakura country. The girls there seemed to eat like this, covering their mouths while chewing and squinting their eyes to make an expression of enjoyment, as if they were eating delicacies from land and sea. Also, Xia Tao is not afraid of the cold, doesn't like to drink hot soup, and eats cold kelp shreds in the middle of winter. All of these things are in conflict with the Sakura kingdom. Could it be that they were sent by the Kikuno family again? But this was too clumsy. Pei Yuan said that the Kikuno family was a ninja family with a century-old heritage. There were many people from the Kikuno family in the notorious Plum Agency. It was impossible for such a powerful family to always send clumsy people, right? Wan Qiqi was a little undecided, so she decided to call Manzai and ask him to come and smell it. After dinner, everyone went back to the dormitory together. The wind was a little lighter. Wan Qiqi thought for a moment, took out a mask from her pocket and put it on. You didn't wear a mask when the wind was strong just now, but you put it on now that the wind is low.
Liu Qin.
I'm allergic to pollen, and I felt a little uncomfortable without wearing it just now. Wan Qiqi explained seriously. Is there pollen in winter? Xia Tao asked naively. There are them all year round, less in winter and more in spring and autumn. Wan Qiqi said with a smile. Is pollen allergy uncomfortable? Xia Tao asked in a concerned tone. I felt so uncomfortable and couldn't breathe. One spring I went hiking and almost died in the mountains. Wan Qiqi said this very seriously. It's too scary. Does that mean you can't climb mountains anymore? Xia Tao's tone became more concerned. Just wear a mask. Wan Qiqi's tone was very casual. That's good. The scenery on the mountain is so beautiful. It would be such a pity if we couldn't climb it. Xia Tao patted her chest, appearing happier than Wan Qiqi. Wan Qiqi smiled, and her eyes became meaningful. 1 month ago, in the land of Sakura, Kyoto, there is an antique old house in the suburbs, covering a large area. There are many guards patrolling, and the security is very strict. This is the old house of the Kikuno family, and also the training base of the Kikuno family. The outstanding ninjas sent to the UME agency were trained in this house, including the dead eel. Of the Kikuno family is named Kikuno Masato. He is also Eel's master and Dr. Song's biological father. Masato Kikuno looked to be in his early 60s, not tall, with a stern expression. He was sitting at the top, looking coldly at a girl wearing a cherry blossom kimono, kneeling on the ground with her head lowered. There were also a few middle-aged men and women sitting next to them, all of whom were the sons and daughters-in-law of Kikuno Masato. Chio, why did you come back suddenly? Where is Chinatsu? Masato Kikuno's tone was stern, and his eyes were cold and ruthless. Grandfather, Chinatsu sent me a secret message asking me to come back, saying it was grandfather's order. The kneeling girl raised her head, and her face was exactly the same as Xia Tao's, without any difference. But their temperaments are completely different. Xia Tao is sweet while Chio is cold, and the two are easy to distinguish. When I sent you to China, I told you that you could only come back if I personally gave the order. Chio, don't try to be smart in front of me. What's going on? Where did Chinatsu go? Kikuno Masato finished speaking. He raised his hand lightly. Kikuno Chio on the ground groaned. Her face turned pale, and blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Sitting on the side stood up worriedly, but after Masato Kikuno just took a look, she sat down obediently, not daring to look at her daughter again. Grandfather, I'm telling the truth. I haven't forgotten what you said, but I really miss my family and the cherry blossoms in Kyoto. You sent me to China when I was 5 years old, and I haven't set foot on my homeland since. For the past 15 years, I've been missing my homeland and my family all the time. It just so happened that Chinatsu sent me a secret message asking me to come back, so I came back. I know I was wrong. Please punish me, grandfather. After saying that, Chiyo knelt straight down, lowered her head, and prepared to accept the punishment. Kakuno Masato's expression did not change at all, and he asked in a cold voice, "Where is Chinatsu?" "I don't know. After I came back, she poisoned me and told me to follow her instructions. Otherwise, she wouldn't give me the antidote. I had no choice but to obey her and stay in her room, wearing Chinatsu's clothes." Chiyo's face became paler and paler, and her kneeling body was shaky. She had just been whipped by her grandfather and had suffered internal injuries. All her internal organs were in pain. Kakuno Masato stood up, walked slowly to her, and said coldly, "Stretch out your hand." Chiyo stretched out her hand obediently. Her skin was not as white as Xia Tao's, but a healthy wheat color due to frequent sun exposure. Masato Kakuno took the patient's pulse and found that he was indeed poisoned, so his anger subsided a little. "Father, Chiyo knows she is wrong. Please forgive her." The beautiful middle-aged woman Keiko Sanada knelt down and pleaded for her daughter. Chiyo glanced at her with a cold and mocking look in her eyes. Masato Kakuno didn't even look at his daughter-in-law, but just gave his son a warning look. His son quickly pulled his wife out of the hall. His father was angry now, and if they waited any longer, they would be in trouble. "What did Chinatsu tell you she was going to do?" Masato Kakuno looked at his granddaughter coldly. This granddaughter had extraordinary talent since she was young, so he sent her to China when she was 5 years old and sent masters to secretly teach her various ninja skills. He spent so much manpower and material resources on a big game. He also hoped that the empire would be able to counterattack China in the future and take back the land that belonged to them. Chiyo has lived in China since she was a child. Her behavior and speech are the same as those of the locals. Chiyo is also an excellent ninja. In addition to Chiyo, he also arranged other ninjas to lurk in every city in China. Once the counterattack begins, these spies he has planted will be the greatest help to the empire. When the counterattack is successful, he, Kakuno Masato, will definitely become the next prime minister. Under his leadership, the Kakuno family will definitely move to a higher level. But Chiyo's sudden return disrupted his plan. Kakuno Masato was very angry because he hated disobedient chess pieces the most. "I don't know. Chinatsu didn't tell me anything."
She has always looked down on me.
Chiyo replied, "Father, there's a secret message coming from Huagua Tanzhou saying they've contacted me Tao." Someone came in to report, holding a secret message that had just been received from China. Masato Kakuno took the secret message and read it, and felt even colder. "How did Chinatsu know our plan? Did you tell her?" Masato Kakuno questioned his son. "Father, I didn't. I never said these things to Chinatsu." The son cried out in injustice. Her father had arranged for his youngest daughter to marry into a prominent family in the capital in the future, so Chinatsu learned music, chess, calligraphy, and painting and how to please men since she was a child, and only learned the basics of ninja skills. The eldest daughter, Chiyo, was sent to China to lie undercover at the age of 5 because of her extraordinary talent. She underwent cruel and rigorous ninja training since she was a child, and would serve the Kakuno family in the future, even at the cost of her life. Therefore, he knew very well that from the moment his eldest daughter Chiyo was chosen, she was no longer his daughter, but a powerful weapon of the family. Masato Kakuno glared at his son with disdain. He had been a wise man all his life, but he gave birth to such a cowardly son who had nothing. The only thing he could show off was that he had a pair of twin daughters who were both very talented. Chiyo is extremely qualified and can serve the family well. Chinatsu is sweet and lovely, and can be used to arrange marriages and consolidate the family status. He has invested a huge amount in both of his granddaughters. Chinatsu is about to marry the heir to a prominent family in Kyoto. The wedding will be held next year when the cherry blossoms are in bloom and the invitations have been sent out. Chiyo was going to send someone to deal with the troublesome Wan Chichi. Il was his most proud disciple, but she was ruined by Wan Chichi. He had to kill this Chinese woman to restore the reputation of the Kakuno family. Now the plan has been disrupted. Qianxia must have gone to China to find Wan Qiqi. This ignorant girl, who only learned a few superficial skills, thinks she is invincible. Tomorrow you go to China and bring back Qianxia. If anything happens to Qianxia, don't come back. Kikuno Masato warned coldly. Chinatsu's marriage must not be ruined. She must return safely. Grandfather, I look exactly like Chinatsu. I can marry Fukuyama-kun for her. Chio whispered. Then she groaned in pain. Her face turned even paler, and a streak of blood seeped out on her pink cherry blossom kimono. Masato Kikuno had a thin whip in his hand, which could tear skin and flesh apart with one whip. Everyone in the family was afraid of his whip and would rather be beaten with a stick than be whipped. Chio's body was shaking with pain, but her back was still straight, her cold face was even more stubborn, and she let the cold sweat flow down. Get rid of this thought immediately. You will never be able to replace Chinatsu. Go back and pack up and leave tomorrow morning. Masato Kikuno threw down an antidote and looked at her without a trace of emotion.
Yes.
Chio put the pill into her mouth, stood up, bowed respectfully, and turned to leave. She walked very slowly, and with every step she took, the wounds on her body would be pulled, causing excruciating pain. The bloodstains on her clothes also became darker and darker, looking horrifying. Chio, I'll apply medicine for you. Keiko Sanada was still waiting outside, looking at her daughter with heartache. Thank you, ma'am. That's not necessary. Chio bowed slightly, politely declined, and continued walking slowly.
Chio.
I'm sorry. Keiko Sanada's eyes were red, and she looked like she was crying. How do you talk to your mother? You are becoming more and more unruly. The cowardly father scolded harshly. Sorry, there's no one to teach you the rules outside. Chio looked at the couple sneerfully and walked away without looking back. The next day, when the sky was still dim, she carried a simple luggage and boarded a cargo ship to China. She stood on the deck, watching the rising sun, and a smile appeared on her cold face. She was finally able to escape from the darn Kikuno family. From now on, she would be Xia Tao and no longer Kikuno Chio. And that pretentious Chiharu Kikuno was her gift to China. She should be able to exchange her for a good job, right? Wan Qiqi called Manzai and asked him to find time to come to school. Come tomorrow, Qiqi. When are we going to catch the Japanese? Xiaoming and Xiaoyu are hungry. Manzai can speak a lot now, and even his weakest personality can speak many long sentences. It's almost time, come to school first. Wan Qiqi was not trying to fool him. If nothing unexpected happened, Xia Tao was the Japanese. After Manzai is confirmed, Xiaoming and Xiuyu can have a full meal. Moreover, this woman's skin is as white as snow. This time, she plans to get a tattoo of cherry blossoms so that Xia Tao can rest in peace even if she dies. After the call, Wan Qiqi went to the store to buy a bag of ginger candy before returning to the dormitory. Because the weather was cold, she wanted to eat ginger candy to warm her stomach. She felt very comfortable after eating it. When she reached the dormitory building, she chatted with the trees as usual. There are 2 new people in your dormitory. Shushu cried in surprise. 2 of what? Wan Qiqi asked while holding a ginger candy in her mouth. 2 newcomers, both wearing the same clothes. Wan Qiqi's expression became serious. 2 Xia Taos. What's going on? Shushu told her that 2 Xia Tao were talking right under it just now. Because the weather was cold and there were not many people downstairs in the dormitory building, the 2 Xia Tao were very brave and didn't even wear masks. Wan Qiqi asked about the content of the conversation between the 2 people, but Shushu said he couldn't understand it. It was all gibberish and he couldn't understand a single word. Should I learn a foreign language? The ginkgo tree felt a little upset because it was unable to help Wan Qiqi and felt sorry for the little spiritual energy that Wan Qiqi had passed on to it. It was even more afraid that its ability was too poor and it could not compete with other trees, and it would have no spiritual energy to consume in the future. After all, there are so many trees in the school. If it is not special, it will not be able to enjoy Wan Qiqi's spiritual energy alone. After this analysis, Shushu immediately felt a sense of crisis, But where could he go to learn a foreign language? No, you are already very capable. Wan Qiqi patted the tree gently and gave it some spiritual energy. Humans are already so extravagant. Why should trees also be extravagant? They should just enjoy their life happily. Thank you, Qiqi. The trees were very happy, and their branches were dancing wildly. Wan Qiqi smiled and prepared to go upstairs back to the dormitory. She was now 100% sure that Xia Tao was the Japanese devils, and there were two of them. The other Xia Tao should be lurking outside, and we have to find her out somehow. In the dormitory, and Li Yuqin's cheerful laughter was particularly noticeable. Xia Tao, why are you drinking hot tea? Li Yuqin screamed in surprise, as if drinking hot tea was a very strange thing. If we don't drink hot tea in winter, should we drink cold tea? Xia Tao made a joke, picked up the steaming cup, and took a sip. The mist filled the air and her beautiful face also became misty. You only drank cold tea at noon, and said you didn't like hot drinks. Li Yuqin said with a smile, and didn't think much about it. Sheng Wanqing, who was lying on the bed eating cake, stopped and looked down. Her eyes became sharp and she immediately noticed something different about Xia Tao. Half an hour ago, Xia Tao had snow-white skin. Now her skin is still snow-white, but it is obviously painted with white powder. The wrists that are not covered by the sleeves are obviously darker in color, but the backs of her hands are as white as snow. Sheng Wanqing stuffed the whole cake into his mouth, slid off the bed, and observed Xia Tao closely. Sure enough, there were more loopholes. The ear piercings of the original Xia Tao were in a different position from the current Xia Tao, and her nails and hair lengths were also different. Half an hour ago, Xia Tao went downstairs to buy something, and when she came back, she was a different person. Wan Qiqi pushed the door open and met Sheng Wanqing's eyes. Neither of them said anything, but they both understood what the other meant. Chestnut cake? Any more? Wan Qiqi sniffed and knew it was Ding Yi's craftsmanship. Sheng Wanqing was a little reluctant. She only had 3 pieces of cake in total, not enough for herself. But Wan Qiqi gave her 2 pieces of cake last time, so she had to reciprocate. There are 3 more. How many do you want? Will you give me $3? Wan Qiqi asked deliberately. No, $2 at most. Sheng Wanqing felt so much pain, but she couldn't eat other people's food for free. She had to pay it back. Forget it. I'll eat 2 pieces of your cake. I'm afraid you'll chase me in your dreams at night. Give me 1 piece. Wan Qiqi burst out laughing. She used to think that Sheng Wanqing was an unkind alpine snow lotus, but after getting to know him, she realized that he was actually a greedy and funny guy, quite cute. Sheng Wanqing breathed a sigh of relief and picked out the biggest piece of cake for her. Thanks. I'll make some almond cake next time. The almond cake from that store is also delicious. Wan Qiqi took a bite of the cake. Wow, there was more ingredients than what was made for her. What was Ding Yi doing? She stared at Sheng Wanqing with her eyes wide open, as if she had discovered a big secret. The only thing that could make Ding Yi betray his life-saving grace was romantic love. There must be something fishy going on between these two people. If not, she would twist Ding Yi's head off and kick it like a ball.
Good.
Sheng Wanqing's eyes lit up. Almond cake is also delicious. He will let Fatty Ding make it next time. Please bring me some money too. I'll give you money. Wan Qiqi took out a $10 bill and handed it to Sheng Wanqing. If the almond cake, made this time, still had more ingredients than the one made for her, Ding Yi's vicious intentions would be obvious.
Ok.
Sheng Wanqing readily agreed and called Fatty Ding to order a cake and pick it up tomorrow. This cake looks delicious. Can you bring me one too? Xia Tao asked politely. Sure, $2. Sheng Wanqing agreed. She wanted to see what this fake Xia Tao was up to. Thanks. Xia Tao took out $2 and handed it over with both hands, very politely. Wan Qiqi observed from the side and found that this Xia Tao looked more like a Chinese. The previous Xia Tao always gave people a sense of incongruity. The next day, when I went to class, as soon as I walked into the classroom, several male classmates greeted me enthusiastically. Xia, sit here. This class was attended together with other classes in a large classroom, and seats had to be reserved in advance. These male students occupied the seats in the front rows early on, hoping to show their courtesy to Xia Tao. The one who shouted the loudest was Li Wei. He was a native of Tanzhou. Both his parents were cadres. His family was well off, and he was also handsome. He specifically targeted pretty female classmates from other places. After he succeeded, he would break up with them and pick the next one. Xia Tao was his latest target. "Stop shouting, it's too noisy." Xia Tao looked at these men coldly, with disgust in her eyes. Several male classmates were dumbfounded, especially Li Wei. He was smiling at him yesterday. Why did he look so cold and stern today? "Xia Tao, I specially reserved a seat for you. You can hear clearly in the front." Li Wei did not give up and wanted to try again. After all, Xia Tao was so beautiful, and he had not succeeded yet. "I'm not deaf, but you are. Didn't you hear me when I told you to stop making noise?" Xia Tao did not hide her disgust. After glaring, she prepared to sit in the back. Li Wei was also confused. He couldn't understand what Xia Tao meant. How could one person be so different from both ice and fire? Is he crazy? "Xia, if you have any questions, you can ask me." Another male classmate came over to show his affection. His grades were better than Li Wei's. Xia Tao told Li Wei that he was so happy that he thought Xia Tao liked talented men and felt that he had a great chance. "You look like a mentally slow person. I might as well ask a pig instead of you." Xia Tao said something even more vicious. She pushed away the male classmate who was approaching her with great force. The male classmate was caught off guard and stepped back repeatedly. His lower back hit the table, and he gasped in pain. The other male classmates were completely dumbfounded. They couldn't understand how she could be so different after just one night. If the face wasn't exactly the same, they would have suspected that Xia Tao had been replaced. The third update is completed, and the normal update is finally restored. Good night. Under everyone's suspicious gazes, Xia Tao walked to the very edge of the last row in a very cool manner, sat down, then lay down, pulled her scarf up, put on her hat, and soon fell asleep, even snoring a little. Wan Qiqi twitched her lips and looked at Shang Guanqing. They both doubted their own judgment now. No matter how clumsy the Japanese were, they couldn't expose themselves so obviously. This fake Xia Tao was afraid that others didn't know she was fake, so she did the opposite of the real Xia Tao in every way. They all suspected that the fake Xia Tao and the real Xia Tao had a grudge against each other. What stimulated Xia Tao? Li Yuqin muttered to herself. "I guess I had a nightmare and didn't sleep well. I have a bad temper when I don't sleep well. I don't like everyone, and I will scold any dog that passes by." Su Erfeng pulled Li Yuqin, winked at her, and told her to stop talking. Even though she was the dumbest person in the dormitory, she could see that something was wrong. However, Wan Qiqi and Shang Guanqing didn't say anything. They just pretended not to know. Only by minding your own business can you live longer. Yes, that's right, I'm the same, so when I sleep, my family members don't dare to disturb me." Li Yuqin reacted quickly and agreed immediately. The two exchanged glances and carefully sat down on the other side, away from Xia Tao, Wan Qiqi, and the others. When gods fight, they little ghosts should stay away to avoid getting hurt. "Zheng Jingyan again?" Li Yuqin and Su Erfeng whispered to each other. "Not really. He's not an ordinary person anyway." Su Erfeng felt that he should not be an enemy spy. She had never seen such a stupid enemy spy and was afraid that others would not recognize him. "Our dormitory is really a good place, with good feng shui. The people who live here are not ordinary people, except for the two of us," Li Yuqin said with a smile. Stop talking." Su Erfeng was afraid that there might be ears on the other side of the wall, so she didn't dare to say anything more. Shang Guanqing and Wan Qiqi were also passing notes. "Enemy? Just wait and see," Wan Qiqi replied with a small note. She was confused now. When Manzai came, she would let him smell it first. Pei Yuan had already sent people to Xia Tao's hometown to investigate, and there should be a reply soon. The bell rang, and the classroom suddenly became quiet. Fake Xia Tao had been sleeping during the 4 classes in the morning. Except for waking up when changing classrooms, She lay down and slept the rest of the time, as if she hadn't slept for hundreds of years. Xia Tao, are you feeling unwell? Going to the cafeteria for lunch at noon, Li Yuqin asked with concern. She noticed that Xia Tao looked very bad and her lips were pale, while she looked very good yesterday, with pink lips and rosy cheeks. It was obvious that she was in good health. It's okay, but I just don't have enough sleep. Xia Tao smiled and yawned. You've slept for the whole morning. Why are you still sleepy? Li Yuqin made a joke. I haven't had a good night's sleep for many years. From now on, I will sleep at least 10 hours a day. Xia Tao said half-truthfully. What have you done that you can't sleep well? When I was your age, I couldn't be woken up even by thunder. I slept very deeply. It's only after I had a child that I can't sleep well. It's so noisy that I can't sleep. Li Yuqin thought Xia Tao's words were interesting and she didn't look like a bad person, but she didn't completely let her guard down and just chatted about some family matters. Xia Tao smiled slightly and didn't answer her question. She said was the truth. Since she could walk, she began to undergo cruel training. She could only sleep 5 hours a day and was not allowed to cry. If she was caught crying, she would be severely punished. The one who trained her was her grandfather, Masato Kikuno, and the one who punished her was a thin whip. When she was little, she envied her younger sister Chinatsu very much, who could wear beautiful clothes, stay in an exquisite room, eat sweet and delicious snacks, and when she fell, she could throw herself into her parents' arms and cry like a spoiled child. Even if she cried like a tearful person, she would not be punished. Even her grandfather was kind to her sister. Sometimes after training, she would secretly run to peek at her sister's life. Looking at the happy life of her parents and sister's family of 3, she was so envious and wanted to join them. But her cowardly father found out. The father, who was cowardly and incompetent in front of her grandfather, was cruel and ruthless to her. He taught her a lesson himself and threw her to the training ground. He warned her not to go home again. Otherwise, he would tell her grandfather and beat her with a whip. But her grandfather found out and beat her severely with a whip. She was injured so badly that she had a high fever. In a daze, she heard her grandfather and parents say, "Survival of the fittest." If she can survive, she will survive. If she can't survive, it means she doesn't deserve it. She was lucky and survived. From then on, she never peeped into the lives of her parents and sister again. She trained very hard every day. At the age of 5, she was already the first in the same age group. So, her grandfather sent her to China and fed her poison. She had to take the antidote every month, otherwise she would die. Xia Tao recalled the past, and her heart grew colder and colder. The Kikuno family had been unkind to her, so don't blame her for being unjust. She was still very grateful to that idiot Qianxia. It only took a few words of provocation for this idiot to get restless and run to China to die. And it was also thanks to this idiot that she was able to find the secret recipe of the antidote. From now on, she would not be controlled by the old man anymore. In the days to come, she will live the most unbridled and free life, and no one will try to control her. Xia Tao's mouth corners raised, and her eyes were particularly bright. The cafeteria was bustling with people queuing up. The air was filled with the aroma of various dishes. Xia Tao took a few breaths, and her eyes became brighter. There was her favorite fried bacon with white peppers. China was indeed the best. That darn place, Sakura Country, had nothing to eat. It was a century-old family, but they didn't even have bacon. They were so poor. Finally, it was Xia Tao's turn. She shouted, "Stir-fried bacon with white peppers, another portion of braised pork, and 5 taels of rice. Can you finish it?" Li Yuqin, who was standing behind her, was shocked. Xia Tao only had 2 taels of rice yesterday at noon, and was so full that she ate it all. She only had 1 tael of rice in the evening. The canteen chef didn't even ask for a meal ticket, and just scooped out a small ball of rice from the corners for her.
I'm starving.
Xia Tao said this very seriously, holding a lunchbox full of food, and ran to find a seat. She had been hungry for a month in Kyoto and had not enough to eat at every meal. Even though old man Kikuno asked her to marry in his place, she was not willing to do so. The dwarf Fukuyama was extremely ugly and had bow legs. Most importantly, Fukuyama was a man. She hates men the most. How could there be such disgusting men in this world? Until now, she has never seen a man she likes. Wan Qiqi also prepared the meal and sat opposite Xia Tao, just watching her wolfing down the food like a ghost that had been hungry for 3 days. Yesterday, Xia Tao only took small bites of her food, covered her mouth, and squinted her eyes pretentiously, but today's fake Xia Tao ate more heartily than a man, as if she could swallow an elephant in one bite. How many days have you been hungry? Wan Qiqi couldn't help but ask. 1 month. Xia Tao stuffed a big mouthful of rice, winked at her, then lowered her head and ate seriously, each bite full of love for food. Wan Qiqi's mouth twitched again. She was very sure that this fake Xia Tao deliberately exposed so many loopholes, fearing that she would not be able to discover them. What is the purpose of the fake Xia Tao? After finishing a full lunchbox, Xia Tao went to get a large portion of carrot and bone soup. She drank it while it was still hot and burped with satisfaction. It's so comfortable. In winter, you have to drink radish and bone soup, or lotus root and pork rib soup, which is 10,000 times better than miso soup. In China kept talking about miso soup and sushi, and she thought they were delicious things.
Haha.
She finally ate them when she went back last month. The miso soup sounded like sewage soup made from a rag that hadn't been washed for a month, and she couldn't drink a single sip. The cold rice balls of sushi with some sashimi and pickles, but she couldn't get used to it. She didn't like eating it raw. Which of them wouldn't taste good when cooked by steaming, frying, stewing, pan-frying, or braising? Li Yuqin and Su Erfeng exchanged glances, lowered their heads to eat, and said nothing more. This new classmate Xia Tao is too weird. Let Wan Qiqi and Shang Guanqing deal with it, and they should just watch the show quietly. He Hong became even more silent. She originally wanted to talk to Xia Tao and persuade her to stay away from frivolous men like Li Wei to avoid being deceived. However, Xia Tao was rude to Li Wei and other male classmates in the morning, and now she ate like a starving ghost, which was completely different from the Xia Tao yesterday. She immediately thought of the missing Jing Jingyun and shut up decisively. Mind your own business, live well, and graduate safely. She gave herself these 12 words of mantra, and she reminds herself of them every day. He Hong silently recited the 12-word mantra while eating. The atmosphere at the table became silent, with only the sound of everyone chewing their food and the sound of the spoon hitting the aluminum lunchbox. Xia Tao ate the fastest. She rested her elbows on the table, held her chin up to her head, feeling sleepy, and nodded her head. Beautiful people are still beautiful even when they are sleepy. Several male classmates from the class sat next to her, including Li Wei. Although Xia Tao humiliated him in the morning, Li Wei did not give up. He even felt that Xia Tao was playing hard to get. Now he was even more certain that Xia Tao did not leave after dinner, but deliberately held her chin with her hands and made a beautiful gesture to charm him. With his heart beating fast, stood up abruptly without thinking, walked to Xia Tao's side, stood in a self-proclaimed cool posture, stretched out his hand and knocked hard on the dining table a few times. Xia Tao opened her eyes and looked at him coldly. Shang Guanqing glanced at her, and there was a real murderous intent in his heart just now. This fake Xia Tao had murderous intentions, but she restrained herself. Xia Tao, do you want to go to the park with me this weekend? We can go boating, and we can also…
Oh my!
Li Wei forced out what he thought was a charming smile and extended an invitation, but before he could finish his words, he flew backwards like a kite with a broken string. Bang! Li Wei fell heavily to the ground. Xia Tao took her hand back and said coldly, "Don't come near me anymore. If you do it again, I'll beat you to death." The disgusting man even had a problem breathing. She wished she could destroy all male creatures on earth. This darn man made her sick for the second time. If it happens a third time, she will definitely take Li Wei's life. Li Wei, who was lying on the ground, couldn't even get up because his butt hit the ground first, and his coccyx was almost broken. He didn't expect Xia Tao to change her attitude faster than he could turn the pages of a book. Was smiling lovingly at him yesterday, but today she turned into a cold and murderous person. Even a neuropathy face doesn't get better this fast.
You.
Are you crazy? If you don't want to go, then don't go. Why are you hitting people? Li Wei was so angry that he cursed loudly. It was always the female classmates who tried to please him, but this Xia Tao not only humiliated him but also dared to hit him. Just wait and see. I beat you, and you still feel like your hands are dirty. Ugly people are full of weird things. If you don't have a mirror, just annoy on it and see how ugly you are. You have dead fish eyes, a garlic nose, a catfish mouth, a toad face, not an ounce of flesh on your face, and a body as thin as a 3-inch stick. Even your head and feet have been plucked of hair, and even after you cook them, you still have the nerve to come in front of me and disgust me? Xia Tao walked up to Li Wei and looked down at him with disgust. Her cherry lips looked as if they were stained with red blood, and every word she said could kill Li Wei. There were a few male classmates who wanted to come over to mediate the fight, but they stopped decisively. They were afraid of being scolded by Xia Tao. You're going too far. I just invited you to the park. Why did you hit me and humiliate me? I will report it to Teacher Jing. Li Wei was both ashamed and angry. His parents were cadres, and he was the only son. He had lived a privileged life since he was young, and was fawned upon by everyone. How could he have ever suffered such humiliation? Darn Xia Tao, he must get her and humiliate this sitch severely. Snap, a crisp slap was heard. Xia Tao was slapped after taking off her shoes. Touching a man makes her sick. Have you stopped drinking? You always report to the teacher? Why don't you stay at home and eat your milk? Why do you come to school? I warned you this morning. Don't you understand what I'm saying? Did I invite you to the park? If you keep talking nonsense in front of me, I'll turn you from Li Wei to Yang Wei. Xia Tao cursed and slapped him with her shoe soles. The sound of slaps continued. Li Wei's face, which was as thin as a piece of flesh, became swollen like a pig's head, and blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Xia, stop fighting. Let's talk it over nicely. The class monitor Chang Yufeng came over to persuade them, and the other male students stayed away, fearing that the cruel Xia Tao would beat them up too.
Roll.
Xia Tao raised her head. Her beautiful face was colder than ice, and her eyes were full of disgust. Darn this man, I really want to kill him. But if she wants to surrender to China, she must abide by China's laws and cannot kill people at will. No, she has to go to a unit where she can kill people legally. 759 is a good unit. She can kill the Japanese legally. Kill as many as you can. Xia Tao's lion-like roar frightened Chang Yufeng so much that he retreated repeatedly. Just now, he felt as if there was an ice-cold knife on his neck. If he didn't retreat, the knife would definitely chop him down. Squad leader, are you okay? The male classmate supported Chang Yufeng and asked with concern.
No.
It's okay. Chang Yufeng's face was pale, his body and voice were trembling. He didn't look like he was okay at all. Don't worry about it. She must be mentally ill. Report it to Teacher Jing immediately and send her to a mental hospital. Several male classmates nodded in agreement. Yesterday, Xia Tao was sweet and lovely, but today she was a crazy person. Definitely a lunatic. They, the normal people, couldn't afford to offend such a lunatic. What nonsense are you talking about? It's obviously Li Wei, who doesn't understand what people say. He went to Xia Tao to make trouble. What a lunatic. If you keep talking nonsense, I will report it to Teacher Jing. He Hong heard this and severely punished the male students. Although she suspected Xia Tao's identity, she didn't confirm it until she knew that she was her classmate, compatriot, or roommate. As the secretary of the Youth League Committee, she had to stand up when someone slandered Xia Tao's reputation. Otherwise, she would be derelict in her duty as the Youth League Committee secretary. Student, he is right. Don't say such things. Student Xia Tao may not be in a good mood today. Chang Yufeng had a gentle tone and spoke slowly and calmly. Although he was lecturing people, he was much more polite than He Hong. Several male classmates accepted Chang Yufeng's criticism very humbly, but they were not convinced by He Hong. They felt that she was making a fuss over nothing and was a little overbearing. She did not have the gentleness that a female comrade should have. He Aihong hesitated for a few seconds, but still walked over and advised Xia Tao, even if Li Wei was wrong first, you have already hit him, so stop it immediately. If you continue to hit him, it will be intentional injury. Go away.
Got it.
Xia Tao blurted out, get out, but when she saw it was He Aihong, her attitude improved a lot, and she stopped obediently. She has always been more tolerant toward sessions. If it's a beautiful Zespian, she will be more gentle. If she is a beautiful and powerful Zespian, she will be more gentle than the pretentious Chinatsu. Don't come near me from now on, remember? Xia Tao put on her shoes and warned condescendingly. Li Wei, with a swollen pig face, agreed humiliatingly, but in his heart he was planning to find someone to teach her a lesson. Xia Tao snorted coldly, turned back to her seat to get her lunchbox, washed it, and went back to the dormitory. Su Erfeng and Li Yuqin walked side by side. Neither of them spoke, but they both planned to provoke Xia Tao less in the future, as they were afraid of being beaten. Wan Qiqi and Shang Wanqing didn't say anything either. They were thinking about Xia Tao's purpose, which was too weird. It was late at night, and the dormitory building was very quiet. Most people were asleep, but Wan Qiqi was not asleep. She had a feeling that tonight would not be peaceful, so she drank a cup of coffee before going to bed. Sure enough, the door opened, and a dark shadow flashed out. Wan Qiqi quickly got out of bed and followed the black shadow. A few seconds after she went out, Shang Wanqing also came out. He Aihong was struggling in bed for a long time. Should she go with him or not? If she followed him, she was afraid that it would be the same as last time, and she would be scared to death. Last time, she had a fever that took 3 days to subside, and she almost lost her life. But if she didn't follow, in case Wan Qiqi and Shang Wanqing couldn't defeat the enemy, she could still run and call for help. After all, she was also a public servant, and she definitely couldn't just stand by and watch. And what if she succeeds in her mission? She should be promoted, right? Thinking of this possibility, He Aihong's eyes lit up. Eager to get promoted, she became bolder and got out of bed decisively, and followed him out on tiptoe. The dormitory became unusually quiet. Erfeng, do we want it? Li Yuqin asked in a low voice. Go and have a look. Su Erfeng was torn between her own conscience and her own desires. If she followed, she was afraid of death. If she didn't, she was afraid something might happen to Wan Qiqi and the others. Finally, she decided to follow, since she was strong and could at least lend a hand. The two of them put on their clothes and took their weapons. Su Erfeng held the broom and Li Yuqin carried the mop. They walked stealthily to the entrance of the corridor, but no one was visible. Where did you go? Li Yuqin asked in a low voice. I don't know, throw a coin. Su Erfeng took out a 5-cent coin from her pocket and chanted, words down, national emblem up. When she can't make up her mind, she just makes the decision by tossing a coin, and usually nothing serious happens. She threw the coin upwards, and it spun a few times in the air. She then caught it with her hand and opened it. The national emblem on the palm of her hand was facing upwards. Walk. The two of them went upstairs decisively. If there was no one upstairs, they would go back to sleep. They walked to the small door leading to the rooftop on the 4th floor. As soon as they opened the door, they were frightened out of their wits by a crouching black shadow and almost screamed. Su Erfeng reacted quickly. While holding the broom tightly, she was able to free one hand to press Li Yuqin's mouth hard. She even raised her foot, ready to kick the black shadow. Hush! The lying black shadow moved. It was He Aihong, who signaled them to be quiet. The three of them lay down. It was amazing that He Aihong had found a good place. They were not exposed to the wind and could see what was happening on the rooftop. It was just too far away, so they couldn't hear anything. There were 2 people standing on the rooftop. They were Xia Tao and Wan Qiqi. Shangguan Qingmao is on the tree. Xia Tao and Wan Qiqi are talking. Li Yuqin listened for a long time, but didn't hear a word. She wanted to get closer, but He Aihong grabbed her tightly and growled, "You want to die?" He wants to die. Don't drag her down with you. She still wants to be a high official. I can't hear you, Li Yuqin explained in a low voice. No one could hear her. What was the point of lying on the roof and freezing? Might as well go back to sleep. If you can hear me, you're dead. Shut up. Ihong glared fiercely. She didn't want to hear these people's secrets at all. She just wanted to make achievements and get promoted. Ruan Qiqi and Xia Tao stood face to face, with a distance of 3 meters between them.
Who are you?
Ruan Qiqi asked. She appears calm on the outside, but her body is on high alert, ready to attack at any time. Don't worry, I'm not your enemy. I'm Xia Tao, also known as Kikuno Chio. Xia Tao smiled slightly, her voice much softer than during the day. Where is Xia Tao from yesterday? Ruan Qiqi was too lazy to keep her in suspense and asked directly. Her name is not Xia Tao, but Kikuno Chinatsu. She is the darling of the Kikuno family. Mentioning Kikuno Chinatsu, Xia Tao smiled sarcastically with hatred in her eyes. Are you and her twin sisters? Ruan Qiqi said with certainty. They looked so similar it was obvious that they were twin sisters. They are twins, but not sisters. Let's not waste time. I know you doubt my identity, but I can tell you that I hate the Kikuno family and Sakura country more than anyone else. My greatest wish is to blow up Mount Fushire and destroy Sakura country, so you don't have to waste time on me. Xia Tao expressed her sincerity very frankly, and what she said was from her heart.
Why?
You should be the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family, right? Why should I believe you? Ruan Qiqi felt her sincerity, but did not completely believe it. Let me tell you a story. 20 years ago, the useless eldest son of the Kikuno family and his wife gave birth to a pair of twin daughters. When the daughters were 1 year old, the old man Kikuno Masato, who is the head of the Kikuno family and my grandfather by blood, was a vicious, perverted, and cruel old man. He found that the two sisters were both very talented, but with different focuses. Xia Tao stopped and Ruan Qiqi didn't say anything, just listened quietly. If nothing unexpected happens, this pair of sisters is the real Xia Tao and the fake Xia Tao. The elder sister was very talented in ninja, and the younger sister was sweet and lovely, so the old man took the elder sister away and taught her ninja skills himself. As for the younger sister, he invited masters of various talents such as music, chess, calligraphy, and painting to teach her how to please men. When she grew up, she married into a noble family. When she was 5 years old, the elder sister was sent to China by Kikuno Masato and lived in the old couple who adopted her were surnamed Xia and named her Xia Tao. Mentioning the old couple, Xia Tao's expression became nostalgic and her voice became softer. Although the old couple were poor and could not even get enough food, Xia Tao lived a very happy life because they were the best people in the world to her. However, the happiness only lasted for 1 year. When Xia Tao was 6 years old, the old couple were killed by people sent by Kikuno Masato. Someone disguised themselves as them and continued to live in the village. She witnessed with her own eyes her loving adoptive parents being brutally murdered by people sent by her grandfather. She wanted to save her adoptive parents, but was restrained by those people and had to watch with her own eyes how her adoptive parents were killed. These people also told her true identity to her adoptive parents. She will never forget the disbelieving and regretful looks in her adoptive parents' eyes, which pierced her heart like a knife. She knew that her adoptive parents must hate her to death because she had brought disaster to them and killed them. This was the first hatred, and I swore at that time that I would avenge them. Xia Tao said word by word. How old were you when you took revenge? Ruan Qiqi was a little curious. When I was 12, I killed them with my own hands, in front of my adoptive parents' graves. Xia Tao smiled faintly. What is the second hatred? Ruan Qiqi asked again. When I was 13, a few old men who were sent by Kikuno Masato to teach me skills used me. They said that it was my grandfather's order because they were lonely in the mountain village and couldn't reveal their identities. My grandfather also wrote me a personal letter saying that these old men were high-ranking officials in the country, and it was my honor to serve them. Xia Tao calmly told her story. When she was 12 years old, she killed the enemy who killed her adoptive parents. Her grandfather's people did not find out and thought that something happened in the mountains, so they sent a few people to teach her skills. These old men were highly skilled in martial arts, and she had no chance of defeating them. She had no choice but to be defeated by them, and this continued until she was 17. She learned all the skills of these old men, and then killed them using the most beautiful Lingqi technique in China. Lingqi is truly the greatest invention in the world. I cut off their skin and flesh piece by piece, blood splattered, bones and flesh separated, tendons and veins severed. It is the most beautiful work of art in the world, but it's a pity that I'm the only one who appreciates it. Xia Tao used the calmest language to describe the craziest things. Wan Qiqi knew that what she said was true because she felt a similar aura from Xia Tao. The most severe deep well ice she had encountered since coming to this time and space. No one is as good as her. After all, if Manzai gets crazy, he won't be tortured to death. The third update is finished. Xia Tao hates men and is a severe case of deep well ice, but she won't kill people casually. Tomorrow, Tyrannosaurus and Jiaohua will meet. Good night. Had to work on Saturday. She had inquired and found out that going to the countryside would either mean carrying manure or reclaiming wasteland, which was dirty and tiring. She had suffered enough in the past 20 years, so she didn't want to suffer any more in the future. Please ask for a leave for me. I have my period and my stomach hurts. Xia Tao pulled aside the mosquito net, revealing her pale little face, looking so weak that it seemed like she would faint at any moment. Should we take you to the infirmary? He Hong believed it and wanted to help her get up and go to the hospital. Xia Tao did not disappear suddenly like Zheng Jingyun, and she was talking and laughing with Yuan Qiqi and Sheng Guanqing and the others. This means that Xia Tao is not an enemy spy, but one of us. She will definitely care about her own people. No, I'll just lie down for a while. Go and work, don't waste time. Xia Tao decisively retreated back into bed, and her true identity was exposed when she went to the hospital. Xia Tao is so weak, someone has to stay and take care of her. If something happens to her, she will die in the dormitory, and no one will know. Please ask for leave for me, and I will work hard to take care of Xia Tao. Wan Qiqi also decisively lay back in bed and gave a particularly high-sounding reason. Xia Tao rolled her eyes and complained silently. You are the one who has good and bad luck. I wish you a long life. Yes, someone does need to take care of him. I will talk to Teacher Jing. He Hong had no doubts and agreed to help them ask for leave. Sheng Guanqing gritted her teeth and was a step slower, allowing Wan Qiqi to get there first. If she asked for leave again, it would definitely arouse Teacher Jing's suspicion. She didn't want to work, even as a scorekeeper. It was a round trip of more than 20 miles. Student Ruan, why don't you get up to take care of her? Student Xia is so weak, she needs to drink hot water. If she doesn't go and get some water, she'll be gone. Sheng Guanqing walked to the door and said this deliberately to prevent Wan Qiqi from sleeping in. Get up. Wan Qiqi got up with gritted teeth, took the thermos to boil some water, and came back to continue sleeping.
I'm hungry.
Please help me get breakfast. 6 meat buns, a bowl of white porridge, and a fried cake. The meal ticket is in the drawer. Take it yourself. Xia Tao gave orders with confidence. You yourself have no arms or legs. Wan Qiqi rolled her eyes. Teacher Jing and the others haven't left yet. Xia Tao threatened openly and pretended to get up. If she went out to get breakfast, she would definitely be exposed, and both of them would have to work and be criticized. Then just starve. You won't die of starvation if you skip a meal. Wan Qiqi snorted. The Japanese devils still wanted to control her? She got into bed quickly. The quilt was still warm. It was such a cold day, and she felt so happy sleeping in the warm quilt. Xia Tao waited for half an hour, thinking that Wan Qiqi would surrender first and go get breakfast, but in less than half an hour, she was too hungry to bear it and had to get up to get breakfast. Bring me some white porridge and 3 meat buns. The meal ticket is in the drawer, take it yourself. Wan Qiqi's voice sounded, and her movements were particularly natural. Xia Tao curled her lips, took out the meal ticket from the drawer, and went to the cafeteria to get her meal. He called back soon after, and the two chatted while eating. I won't be here tonight, but Chiharu Kikuno will come. Don't expose her. Go hiking with her tomorrow. I will bring her men with me, at least 10 people. Will Kakuno Chiharu's people listen to you? I have Chiharu Kakuno's token. Those 10 people are all ninjutsu masters. But don't worry, they are no match for me. I will protect you. Xia Tao explained in advance, fearing that Wan Qiqi would be afraid to go up the mountain. Good, I will definitely go hiking tomorrow. Wan Qiqi smiled slightly. 10 little Japanese devils will definitely outnumber the Tyrannosaurus this time. Don't kill Kakuno Chinatsu. She is more valuable alive than dead. Kakuno Masato really wants to marry into the Fukuyama family, so he will definitely find ways to protect this idiot. Xia Tao reminded. Okay, let her live. Wan Qiqi agreed, detained Kakuno Chinatsu, and demanded benefits from Kakuno Masato, threatening to kill him if he refused. What specific benefits she wants. After they finished their breakfast, they both went back to bed and slept until the afternoon. Xia Tao went out, and the one who came back was Kakuno Chinatsu. Although they are wearing exactly the same clothes, the difference between Kakuno Chinatsu and Natsumo is very obvious and can be seen at a glance. Neither Wan Qiqi nor Shang Guanqing exposed her and continued to chat and laugh with her. Su Erfeng and the others pretended not to know. Is anyone going to climb the mountain tomorrow? I've heard of the reputation of Yuelu Mountain, but I've never climbed it. Is there anyone who wants to go with me tomorrow? Before lights out, Chinatsu Kakuno suddenly suggested climbing the mountain, but no one agreed. It's too cold outside, and it's even colder on the mountain. Let's wait until it's warmer before climbing.
Su Efeng advis.
But I can't wait any longer. Can someone accompany me for a while?
Please.
Chinatsu Kakuno started to act coquettishly, and everyone got goosebumps. I also want to climb the mountain, let's go together. Wan Qiqi agreed. Xia Tao was right. Kakuno Chinatsu was indeed stupid and confident, and was so easy to fool. Thank you, Wan. It's settled. We'll go hiking at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Kakuno Chinatsu was very proud. The Chinese were indeed stupid and so easy to deceive. When she kills Wan Qiqi, her grandfather will definitely look at her with new eyes and maybe even pass the position of head of the family to her. That guy Kakuno Taro, he just knows a little bit about swordsmanship. He is definitely not as smart as her. Being the head of a family depends on brains. It is useless to just know how to wield a knife. A night passed and dawn came. Wan Qiqi and Kakuno Chinatsu went hiking, and Shang Guanqing also said he wanted to hike, so he followed them. She and Wan Qiqi both climbed slowly, enjoying the scenery as they walked, but Kakuno Chinatsu seemed a little anxious and urged her several times along the way. Why are you in such a hurry? The mountain is not that high. Wan Qiqi said this, but still quickened her pace. She couldn't wait to kill those 10 Japanese devils. Shushu needs a lot of nourishment to survive the cold winter. At the same time, Luyi received a call from Zhengji. Hurry, hurry, there are quite a few Japanese soldiers on the mountain, let's go quickly. Where did you get the news? The Japanese soldier we left behind last time received a secret message from his superiors, saying that they were going to intercept a man on the mountain to avenge Il. Zhengji said. Luyi deliberately left that little Japanese soldier behind, hoping to play the long game and hook the big fish, and they really got what they wanted. Luya's eyes lit up. Il died at Jiahua's hands, which meant that these Japanese devils were going to the mountain to intercept Jiahua. Let us go and be the flower protectors and kill the devils by the way. Luyi hung up the phone, asked for leave immediately, and went up the mountain with Zhengji. This time, he would snatch away all the little devils in front of that delicate flower and securely sit on the #1 spot in 759. Pei Yuan also received the news and quickly sent Ding Yi and comrade Xiao Chao to the mountain for reinforcement. Jiahua was his treasure and nothing could happen to her. Wan Qiqi and the others had already climbed halfway up the mountain. The trees on the mountain were still lush and green, as there were many evergreen trees and shrubs, but there were also many bare trees, with only bare branches left. Hey, what kind of tree is that over there? I've never seen it before. Let's go over there and take a look, okay? Kakuno Chinatsu screamed in surprise and insisted on going into the woods to look at the trees. Go and have a look. Wan Qiqi and Sheng Wanqing were both easy to talk to. They accompanied her into the woods. The smile on Kikuno Chinatsu's face became more and more proud. This forest was the ambush point she had chosen. Soon, Wan Qiqi and Sheng Wanqing will both become corpses. There are many green leaf trees in the south even in winter, and the mountains are still green. Chinatsu Kikuno ran happily to the tree, looked up to admire it, and exclaimed in amazement. How beautiful! Only nature can produce such beautiful trees. No matter how good a painter is, he can't paint them. Kikuno Chinatsu's tone was extremely exaggerated. Wan Qiqi and Sheng Wanqing watched her performance quietly. It was just an ordinary pine tree, not the welcoming pine of Huangshan. The performance was really poor. It's just a pine tree. Don't you have any in your country? Wan Qiqi spoke in a teasing tone. She learned from Shu Shu that Xia Tao did bring 10 people and ambush them on the tree. Her head, staring at her fiercely. After all, the place is small and the resources are scarce, so it's normal that there are no pine trees. Sheng Wanqing said sarcastically. Kikuno Chinatsu's face changed drastically. She reacted quickly and realized that she was exposed. Is it discovered by you? I'm so sorry. Maybe I was too happy and got carried away. You too, take a good look at this beautiful scenery. You won't be able to see it soon. Kikuno Chinatsu was not panicked, but rather very proud. She brought 10 excellent ninjutsu masters who were assigned to her by her grandfather. They were more than capable of dealing with Wan Qiqi and Sheng Wanqing. Stop talking nonsense and get your people out. Sheng Wanqing was impatient to listen to the woman's pretentious voice. Last night, she almost couldn't help herself and almost killed this Japanese woman. Don't be impatient. Are you really not going to look at this beautiful scenery anymore? If you go to the underworld, you won't be able to see anything. After saying that, Kikuno Chinatsu covered her mouth and laughed, a laugh that was particularly annoying. Snap! Sheng Wanqing rushed to the woman like lightning, slapped her cleanly and neatly, and then slapped her with the backhand, leaving bright red slap marks on both sides of her face.
Baka.
Chinatsu Kikuno was furious. She was the noble Miss Kikuno. How could a lowly Chinese dare to hit her? Come out and teach them a lesson. Kikuno Chinatsu shouted angrily. 11 black shadows fell from the trees, all holding knives, and surrounded Wan Qiqi and Sheng Wanqing. Kill them. Kikuno Chinatsu proudly retreated to her men and gave them orders. Just as Xia Tao was about to take action and eliminate the ninja closest to her, footsteps were heard in the distance. It's us. Ding Yi ran over with Xiao Chao on his back. What are you doing here? They are mine. Wan Qiqi looked at them warily. She would not give up any of them. All 10 were hers. Old Pei asked us to come here because he was afraid that you would be in danger. Don't worry, we won't fight with you for it. All of them are yours. They will crush the Tyrannosaurus Rex in Group A. Ding Yi said with a smile. Of course, it's just a little bug. Wan Qiqi was full of confidence. The mountain wind blew her words to the other side. Humph, you're not afraid of biting your tongue when you brag. Am I that easy to suppress? I can kill your delicate flower with just a fart. The voice came before Lu Yeren arrived. You don't even need to say anything. Your sneeze can blow the delicate flowers 10 miles away. We, Group A, will always be the first. Group B, forget it. Zheng Ji, who was lying on Lu Ye's back, joined in loudly. Lu Yi thought he ran too slowly, so he carried him up the mountain. He could hear the people in Group B talking nonsense from a distance. They were so arrogant. Wan Qiqi was a little angry at first, but after hearing the voice of the Tyrannosaurus, she suddenly felt happy. Isn't this our own son-in-law? It turns out that the little bug is Lu Yi. If she had known that Tyrannosaurus was him, she would not have fought for it. Anyway, whoever came first would get the prize money. That's right, one sneeze from me is enough. These little devils are all mine. No one can snatch them from me. Lu Yi and Zheng Ji had already entered the forest. When they saw the dense swarms of Japanese soldiers, they were both delighted. This year's first place is secured. 3,000 yuan bonus is also secured. You sneezed so violently, how come I didn't know it? Wan Chichi asked deliberately. Who the heck are you?
Chichi?
Lui finally recognized his wife's voice, casually waved his hand, and rushed over in ecstasy. Zhengji was caught off guard and fell hard on his butt, but fortunately he had thick skin and was not hurt. Duck, you forgot your brothers when you got a wife. Zhengji got up cursing, brushed off the dust on his body, and grinned foolishly at the 10 Japanese soldiers. In his eyes, these little Japanese devils are walking money, so he can make a fortune. Chi-Chi, you are a delicate flower? Why didn't you tell me earlier? If you had told me earlier, I wouldn't have argued with you and would have given you everything. Louis finally realized that his wife was the beauty in Group B, so what was he fighting for? The first place must go to his Chi-Chi. Do I need you to give it to me? Wan Chi-Chi glared. She could get first place on her own. I was wrong. Chi-Chi, you are the best. I am not as good as you. From now on, I will always be second.
Louie grinnet folile.
He was willing to be second to his wife forever. Have you had enough? You are so affectionate in front of me.
Kill them.
Originally, Kikuno Chinatsu was somewhat obsessed with Liu Ye's masculine beauty and wanted to capture him alive and make him her lover, but when she heard that he was Wan Chi-Chi's man, she immediately lost interest. She is the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family and will never use a man left over by others. It's so noisy. Louis frowned impatiently, picked up a stone from the ground, and threw it casually. Kikuno Chinatsu's 2 front teeth were broken, and her mouth was full of blood.
Kill them.
Chinatsu Kikuno went crazy. Losing 2 front teeth was more painful than taking her life. She screamed wildly and asked her men to snipe these people. Chi-Chi, I'm going to kill them. Louis prepared to take action. No, look at me. Wan Chi-Chi pushed him away. The mountain was her home ground. She finished her words. 10 ninjas were suddenly hung upside down, headfirst, entangled by tree branches. Chinatsu Kikuno widened her eyes in shock, unable to believe what she saw.
How could this be?
I'm sorry, I'm very healthy, and I don't have any allergies even though I live in the mountains every day. You are so stupid. Wan Chi-Chi walked up to her, took off her mask, and looked at her mockingly. You lied to me on purpose? You found out about me a long time ago? Kikuno Chinatsu asked angrily. You are so clumsy that even a blind person can see it. Chiharu Kikuno, your head is filled with shoot, right? Your sister is much better than you. Wan Chi-Chi smiled in a particularly sarcastic way and deliberately said that she was not as good as her sister. Sure enough, Kikuno Chinatsu became furious, with a dagger in her hand, and stabbed towards Wan Chi-Chi. But she had no chance to stab out with the knife because she was also hung upside down. Chiyoko Kikuno, are you a fool? Save me quickly, or grandfather will not let you go. And there is poison in your body. Don't you want the antidote? Chinatsu Kikuno is very dissatisfied with Xia Tao, who is as indifferent as a piece of wood, and threatens her with Masato Kikuno. Xia Tao moved, but only stepped underneath her, raised her foot, and chopped upward, striking Kikuno Chinatsu in the face with precision. I told you you're stupid, and you're still not convinced. I told you that Chinese people are stupid and easy to fool, but you actually believed it. 3-year-old children in China are smarter than you. You're such a fool, and you still have the delusion of competing with Kikuno Taro. You really should take a noi and look at yourself carefully to see how stupid you are. Every time Xia Tao said something, she would slap Kikuno Chinatsu in the face with her foot. Her kicks were much more fierce than Shang Guanqing's. In just a few minutes, Kikuno Chinatsu was beaten beyond recognition, and her eyes were swollen and narrowed. The 3rd update is completed and will continue tomorrow. Without the antidote, you'll die next month. Kikuno Chinatsu even wanted to threaten her with poison. She regretted it so much now.
She shouldn't have listened to this sitch.
Otherwise, she would still be the eldest daughter of the Kikuno family. She would be able to marry into the Fukuyama family in the spring of next year and become the young lady of the Fukuyama family and the future wife of the head of the family. Xia Tao sneered and kicked several times. Why do you think I went to all the trouble to go back to Sakura country to coax a fool like you? Thanks to you, I found the secret recipe for the antidote in the study of old man Kikuno Masato. Don't worry, I will definitely die after you. Grandfather will not let you go. Kikuno Chinatsu was regretting her decision so much that her intestines turned green. She was one of only 2 juniors in the family who could enter the study, the other being Kikuno Taro. My grandfather's study was very large, containing the Kikuno family's collection of books spanning hundreds of years, most of which were medical books and secret recipes looted from China. Xia Tao said she wanted to go to the study to see what was going on. At that time, she was quite happy to be coaxed by this itch, and she wanted to show off her superior status in the family, so she took her into the study. I didn't expect this zitch to find the secret recipe, darn it. Worry about yourself first, idiot. Xia Tao sneered. She was not afraid of the old man. She even hoped that the old man would send people to kill her. She would kill as many as they came. All for money. Wan Qiqi has already made an agreement with Shu Shu and the others that whoever captures the Japanese will be given tonic. Soon, the ground began to shake, and then dense roots were revealed. All 10 ninjas were sucked in and soon turned into shriveled corpses. Lu Yi and Sheng Guanqing were both very calm. They already knew Wan Qiqi's abilities and were not surprised. Ding Yi and Xiao Chao opened their mouths exaggeratedly and didn't close them for a long time. Xia Tao was startled at first, then looked at Wan Qiqi with surprise. Her eyes became very gentle and full of love. Such a beautiful and powerful woman. She loves it so much. As for Lu Yi next to Wan Qiqi, Xia Tao didn't even see him. At this moment, she only had Wan Qiqi in her eyes. The trees had a big meal and shook their branches happily to thank Wan Qiqi for the gift. 10 mummies were lying in a row on the ground. The forest returned to peace. Kikuno Chinatsu had fainted from fright. This method is good. It saves us from dealing with the corpse and can also preserve the bones.
Can you teach me?
Comrade Xiao Chao was a good comrade who was eager to learn and clamored for Wan Qiqi to teach him. No, you can't learn it. Wan Qiqi refused. Xiao Chao was a fire tamer, so how could he make plants obey him? Xiao Chao was extremely disappointed. For the first time, he was upset about his supernatural powers. It would be great if he could also control plants. Qiqi, you're so awesome. Xia Tao suddenly floated over, looked at her with eyes full of love, and spoke in a voice that was cloyingly sweet, even more artificial than Kikuno Chinatsu's. Wan Qiqi quickly rubbed her arms and took a few steps back. She stepped back and Xia Tao stepped forward, the love in her eyes growing deeper and deeper. Qiqi, there is a rock here. Please be careful. If you fall, I will be sad. Xia Tao considerately kicked away a few stones from Wan Qiqi's feet, winked at her, and shot out 36-volt electric waves.
Stop.
Wan Qiqi, who could no longer bear it, summoned Shu Shu to stop the excited Xia Tao. Xia Tao was entangled by the branches and could not get any closer, but she still looked at Wan Qiqi with loving eyes. She finally met her true love, and from now on she will follow Qiqi until death. Don't love me. It's impossible. Wan Qiqi refused mercilessly. She only liked to kiss, hug, and lift Lu Yi up high. If you don't try, how do you know it's impossible? I can cook and do housework, I can make money, and I can protect you. I'm better than any man. We will definitely be very happy together. Xia Tao expressed her love passionately. You don't even have a house. What are you trying to do? I am indeed popular, but I have a man. Stop it now. Wan Qiqi couldn't bear it anymore. Although she was a crazy woman, she was not a nymphomaniac, let alone a thespian. She only liked Lu Yi, who had juju. Xia Tao is not her type at all. After listening for a long time, the people nearby finally understood something. Could it be that Xia Tao was a mirror grinder? She wants to steal your guest. Zhang Ji gloated over the misfortune and added fuel to the fire. Lu Yi didn't understand at first. He just thought Xia Tao's words were weird, and the way she looked at his Qiqi was even weirder. Now, he finally understood. I'll kill her. Lu Yi shouted that he wanted to kill Xia Tao but was stopped by Wan Qiqi. She came to surrender. You can't kill her. Then don't let her surrender. Just kill her first. Lu Yi looked at Xia Tao coldly, his eyes full of murderous intent. He really wanted to kill Xia Tao. Xia Tao also felt Lu Ye's strength, and her expression became serious. Even if her love rival was very powerful, she would never give up. Even if you kill me, I won't give up. You can't give Chi-Chi happiness, but I can. Let go. Xia Tao sings like she is in a stage play, exaggerated and affectionate, giving people goosebumps. Lu Yi was so angry that he howled. If Ruan Chi-Chi hadn't stopped him, he would have taken action long ago. Don't stop him. I want to duel with him. Only the winner is qualified to accompany Chi-Chi. Xia Tao suddenly floated down, with a knife as thin as a cicada's wing in her hand, and a few broken branches on the ground. Her weapon is also a sword, but unlike Kikuno Taro, hers is a soft sword, which makes it more difficult to practice. Everyone only knows that the best swordsmanship expert in the Kikuno family is Kikuno Taro, but in fact it is her. Don't kill him. Just teach him a lesson. Ruan Chi-Chi released Lu Yi, told him to spare his life, and then left him alone. Lu Yi fought with Xia Tao with his bare hands. The two of them moved faster and faster, almost like phantoms. In just a few minutes, they exchanged hundreds of moves. You are too lame. You are not worthy of my Chi-Chi. Lu Yi snatched Xia Tao's knife and pointed the tip of the knife at her throat. It's not over yet. Xia Tao suddenly laughed. She put her hands in her mouth and whistled very clearly. Soon, several birds flew towards Lu Yi's eyes. Lu Yi subconsciously closed his eyes. At this moment, Xia Tao's figure changed, flashed behind him and launched an attack. A trifle. It was as if Lu Yi had eyes behind him, and Xia Tao failed to succeed and was restrained again. But she escaped again in a puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Xia Tao was nowhere to be seen, having magically disappeared.
Where is she?
This woman is more powerful than any ninja I've ever seen. Her invisibility skills are very advanced. Ding Yi saw that Xia Tao used the invisibility technique, which he had encountered before when he was on a mission. In fact, it was to imitate the mimicry of animals and plants, blending in with the surrounding environment and causing visual errors. Ruan Chi-Chi's mouth curled up slightly. She knew it as soon as Xia Tao hid herself. It must be said that the ninjutsu of the Sakura country is really something. Xia Tao's skills are first class even in China. Lu Yi quickly found Xia Tao among the withered weeds, not far away. She blended in with the weeds and was hard to spot from a distance, and one had to look carefully at her from a close distance to spot her. Lu Yi tied her to a tree and unilaterally announced, I won. Stay away from my Chi-Chi from now on, or I will kill you. Even though she was tied up, Xia Tao still raised her head proudly and said unruly, Even if I lose, I will only let you accompany Chi-Chi temporarily. One day, I will beat you. I'll kill you now. Lu Yi was determined to kill her. Chi-Chi could only be his, and no one could snatch her from him. Even if it is the emperor, he will kill without mercy. Xia Tao snorted coldly, closed her eyes with a fearless attitude, and said affectionately, If I can't accompany Chi-Chi, what's the point of living? Just kill me. After I die, I will be the cinnabar mole in Chi-Chi's heart and live in her heart forever. Not really. My relationship with you is not that deep. If you die, the most I can do is burn some paper money for you. Ruan Chi-Chi rubbed her goosebumps hard and told the truth. That's because we've been together for too short a time. Feelings are developed through time. As time goes by, you'll find that I'm 1,000 times better than this man. This problem is easy to solve. The ancients could all use Mr. Jiao, and they were just as happy. Xia Tao's originally cold and indifferent eyes turned into affectionate peach blossom eyes when she looked at Ruan Chi-Chi, and the words she said became even more corny. But this woman does have a wealth of knowledge. Even Mr. Jiao knows it. Lu Yi and Xiao Chao were both naive elementary school kids who only understood half of what was said and had no idea what Mr. Jiao did. Ding Yi and Xingji were older, and their faces turned red with shame, secretly cursing this Japanese woman for being so shameless as to dare to say such explicit words in public. Don't look at my Chi-Chi when you talk. Turn your head away. Lu Yi fiercely tried to force Xia Tao's head aside and forbid her to look at his wife. Don't touch me. It's basic courtesy to look at the person you're talking to. This stupid and arrogant man really can't change his bad habits. Chi-Chi, are you sure you want to spend your whole life with a man like this? Xia Tao turned her head away, making no effort to hide her disgust for men, including Lu Yi. Even though Lu Yi was very powerful and had defeated her, in her opinion, he was still a darn stinky man and not worthy of her Chi-Chi. Not all men are bad. You can't generalize. Try to get in touch with more men. There will definitely be some who don't disgust you. Ruan Chi-Chi patiently explained to her that Xia Tao's aversion to men was actually a serious mental illness. Because of what happened in her teenage years, she hates men so much that she would not be happy even if she killed all the men in the world. The past trauma left a huge wound in her heart, which has been bleeding and is difficult to heal. Perhaps one day, Xia Tao will meet someone who loves her very much and will tolerate her, so that her wound will slowly heal and she will return to normal. Men are disgusting. I don't want to hear it. Chi-Chi, please don't tell me this, okay? Xia Tao was very reluctant to talk about this topic. She looked at Ruan Chi-Chi pitifully, with tears in her eyes. She looked so pitiful that not only men, but even women would feel soft-hearted when seeing her. Don't use your charm in front of me, be honest. Ruan Chi-Chi's face darkened and her tone became much colder. Xia Tao stabbed the Kikuno family in the back. She still cannot be trusted. This woman is both good and evil, and acts based on her mood. We need to observe her for a while. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Chi-Chi, please don't hate me. Xia Tao immediately stopped her charm technique. She was very upset. She didn't do it on purpose. It was a habit formed from long-term training, and she would use it unconsciously. From now on, she would never use her charm technique in front of Chi-Chi again. Ruan Chi-Chi gritted her teeth helplessly. If she had known Xia Tao was so difficult to deal with, she would not have accepted this gift. After all, the first place would belong to her family. Speak normally and don't talk in front of me, otherwise you will never be able to enter 759. Ruan Chi-Chi warned that she couldn't stand the sound of the clips. Especially after having witnessed Xia Tao's ferocity with my own eyes, it was too chilling to hear her squeeze. Okay, I'll listen to you. Xia Tao's voice returned to normal, and she gave Ruan Chi-Chi a fierce look. No more flirting, be serious. Ruan Chi-Chi warned again. All right. Xia Tao was very obedient and indeed turned back to her previous self, except that her affectionate eyes always followed Ruan Chi-Chi. Chiyoko Kikuno, Grandpa will not let you go. Chiharu Kikuno, who was still tied to the tree, understood everything when she saw the familiar conversation between Xia Tao and Ruan Chi-Chi. She was so angry that she started cursing.
Call me Xia Tao.
I don't want the worst named Kikuno Chio anymore. Xia Tao suddenly floated over and slapped Kikuno Chinatsu a few more times. There were a few broken branches under the tree where she was tied before. Lu Yi frowned. This woman's ninjutsu was indeed powerful. Among all the ninjutsu masters he had fought against, this woman could definitely be ranked in the top 3. You betrayed the family. You will not have a good ending. Chinatsu Kikuno cursed in the language of the Japanese devils. Shut up, you're making so much noise. Xia Tao didn't want to listen to her nonsense anymore, so she put Kikuno Chinatsu down, took a pair of pliers at her hand, and pulled out her lower front teeth without saying a word.
Ah!
Stop it, you're crazy. Stop it. Chinatsu Kikuno screamed in pain. She had already lost 2 front teeth. If her lower front teeth were lost as well, it would definitely affect her appearance. How could she still be the lady of the Fukuyama family? Don't worry, I'll pull out all your teeth, and you won't have cavities anymore. Xia Tao smiled sweetly and pulled out another tooth. Blood gushed out of Kikuno Chinatsu's mouth and flowed down the corners of her mouth, making her look like a vampire. Let me go, please. Kikuno Chinatsu lost all her arrogance and humbly begged Xia Tao to let her go. Xia Tao looked at her coldly, but her hands did not stop and she continued to pull out teeth. After a few minutes, more than 20 bloody teeth were left on the ground. All the teeth in Kikuno Chinatsu's mouth were pulled out, leaving only bare gums, which were bleeding. You will never have cavities again, and you won't have toothaches anymore, so don't thank me. Xia Tao finished speaking. She didn't get a response from Kakuno Chinatsu, so she got angry and pinched her philtrum hard. The severe pain woke Kakuno Chinatsu up, and the taste of blood in her mouth reminded her that what just happened was not a dream. All her teeth were really pulled out, not even her wisdom teeth were left. In the future, she will be like a toothless old lady, with sunken and shriveled cheeks, too ugly to be seen in public. A toothless old lady appeared in Kakuno Chinatsu's mind. When she thought about herself becoming like this in the future, her eyes went dark and she fainted again. Useless stuff. Xia Tao kicked in disgust, cut a few vines, and tied the man up again. Ruan Chichi was going to take 10 corpses and Kakuno Chinatsu to 759 to hand over the heads and report on Xia Tao's matter, so she went down the mountain, and Lu Yi followed behind. Xia Tao and Shengwan Qing returned to school. The almond cake is ready. Here. Ding Yi took out a freshly baked almond cake from the big bag on his back. He had originally planned to deliver the cake to Shengwan Qing after supporting Ruan Chichi. Thanks. Shengwan Qing happily took the cake and couldn't wait to eat a piece. The unique sweet aroma of the almond cake penetrated everyone's nose, making people salivate. What about mine? Ruan Chichi looked at Ding Yi with a somewhat unfriendly tone. This fat guy hasn't made a cake for her for a long time. He is so heartless and ungrateful that he forgets his friends for the sake of beauty. Yes, all. Ding Yi quickly took out another cake and handed it to Ruan Chichi. There's nothing I can do about it. Ruan Chichi's tea is so fragrant. Ruan Chichi took the cake, gave a piece to Lu Yi, and took a piece for herself. After taking a few bites, she walked to Shengwan Qing and stared at the cake in her hand. Sure enough, the cake given to Shengwan Qing had obviously more ingredients than hers. Ruan Chichi didn't expose him, but walked up to Ding Yi and asked quietly, "Do you want to date Shengwan Qing?"
No.
No. Don't talk nonsense. Ding Yi's chubby face turned red instantly, and he stammered in denial. Then I will introduce Shengwan Qing to my brother-in-law. Ruan Chichi deliberately deceived him. Your brother-in-law is so stupid. How can he be worthy of her? Don't mess around with him. Ding Yi was fooled, and he came to his senses after he finished speaking. He looked helplessly at Ruan Chichi, who seemed to be smiling, and nodded shyly with a red face. He also glanced at Shengwan Qing and whispered, "I'll add more ingredients to your cake in the future. Don't ruin my business. I'm not just greedy for that one bite of food." Ruan Chichi spoke very seriously. She was not a greedy person. Yes, you are not greedy, but I am the one who insists on adding more. Ding Yi didn't dare to say that she was greedy, for fear that she would really go to Shengwan Qing to cause trouble.
How could he find a wife then? It's not easy to meet a girl I like.
It's not easy. Chichi, I can bake cakes too, and they taste better than his. Xia Tao came over, and she was also very good at making Western pastries. What's your business? Get out of here. Lu Yahuadadi grabbed her collar and threw her far away.
She was more clingy than a leech.
Xia Tao flew out, tapped the tree with her toes, landed lightly on the ground, and wanted to come back again. She was reluctant to part with Ruan Chichi and wanted to follow her lover. Shengwan Qing, take her with you. Ruan Chichi was also annoyed by the pestering and asked Shengwan Qing to bring people. Although Xia Tao is a master of ninjutsu, she is still a little inferior to Shengwan Qing. Chichi, she can't take me away. I'm very powerful. Xia Tao finished speaking, the smile on her face disappeared, because Shengwan Qing floated behind her like a ghost and subdued her with lightning speed. Let's go down the mountain. Shengwan Qing held Xia Tao with one hand and the cake with the other, and led her down the mountain like a cow. Xia Tao wanted to move her limbs, but her body was numb and she couldn't use any strength. Shengwan Qing had just pressed a few times on her body, and her body became numb. Could this be the legendary acupoint pressing? Are you a master of ancient martial arts? Xia Tao's tone was excited, and her eyes were full of love, just like when she looked at Ruan Chichi just now. So corny. Ruan Chichi couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth. It turned out that love can be transferred. She bet right. Xia Tao admires the strong and will fall in love with anyone of the same sex who is stronger than her. Since she can't convince this woman, let her fall in love with someone else. Wan Qiqi silently said, "I'm sorry," to Dingyi in her heart, and then she felt at ease. Well, shut up. Sheng Wanqing felt so disgusted by the look in this woman's eyes that he decisively pressed her mute point. Ding Yi breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Sheng Wanqing was determined, he would not be afraid of being stolen away by the Japanese woman. Darn it, not only do we have to be on guard against the males, we also have to be on guard against the females. What kind of world is this? Lu Yi followed Wan Qiqi like a follower, and even wanted to get on Group B's car, but was pulled away by Xingji. "Why are you dragging me down?" The land and the fire roared. "We're not on the way." Xingji was also very angry. He used all his strength to drag him into the car and slammed the door. "Qiqi, I'll be home soon," Lu Yi yelled while leaning against the car window. "I'll make you something delicious when I get home, braised pig's head." Wan Qiqi replied gently that her man had performed very well today and deserved a reward of a big pig's head. Lu Yi howled happily in the car and urged Xingji to drive quickly. After he had talked to Director Mu, he would go home to eat pig's head. Xingji started the car, muttering nonstop. "After all, we are in the same group, right? You didn't discuss it with me, and you used the 11 heads to flatter your wife. The first prize is 3,000 and the second prize is 2,000. You flattered her and directly lost 1,000 yuan, which can buy several pigs." He and Lu Yi were in a team, and every year they would win first prize. He got 1,000 and Lu Yi got 2,000. After all, Lu Yi made great efforts, and he played a supporting role. What he cares more about is reputation. Group A has been ranked first for several years, but from now on, he can only be the runner-up for eternity. He can't stand this gap. My wife took first place, and I took second place. It will always be like this in the future. Lu Yi still had some patience towards his old partner and gave a reluctant explanation. "Are you willing to let a woman dominate you?" Zhang Ji deliberately provoked him. Lu Yi showed a happy smile on his face and murmured, "I am willing to suppress it for the rest of my life." Seeing that Xingji didn't understand, he said disdainfully, "You, an old bachelor, can't understand. You will understand when you have a wife." The old bachelor Xingji was suddenly speechless. He turned the steering wheel angrily, and the car made a sharp turn, just like his mood at the moment. "Didn't I tell you about Zhang Weihong's workplace? Why haven't you gotten to know her yet?" Considering their long-term partnership, Lu Yi asked with concern. "I listened to you and invited Comrade Zhang to dinner, but she refused to come out and told me not to waste her time. I can't just drag her out to dinner, right?" Zhang Ji became even more depressed. He mustered up the courage to go to Zhang Weihong's workplace and invite her to dinner, because Lu Yi said that he and his wife fell in love after just a few meals. "You'll never be wrong if you listen to me. Love is built on food. My wife and I have been inseparable since we ate 3 meals together." Lu Yi's example of himself was particularly convincing, and Xingji believed it to be true, but suffered a disastrous defeat on their first date. "Please invite me a few more times. You won't just invite me once and then give up, right?" Lu Yi asked. Xingji's face turned red, and he hummed softly, explaining, I'm just afraid that she will find me annoying." "You stupid pig-headed fool. No wonder you are still single in your 30s. You won't go if the girl says she doesn't want to eat? Will your legs break if you go a few more times? You have such a big head. Is it just for show? Don't you know how to be flexible? If Zhang Weihong doesn't go out to eat, why don't you buy her in to eat? Look at that Fatty Ding. He's smarter than you. He even knows how to make cakes for people, but when Fatty Ding has a baby, you're still a bachelor." Lu Yi scolded Xingji like he was scolding his grandson, making him spit blood. Xingji was not angry at all. After Lu Yi finished scolding her, he humbly asked, "What if she doesn't eat the food I bought?" "If she doesn't eat, how can you not eat?" "Forget it, you'd better stay single." Lu Yewadadi glared, and was too lazy to care about this stubborn piece of wood anymore. "I see. No wonder you got married in 3 meals. I'll ask you again if I don't understand next time." Zheng Ji praised sincerely. He really thought Lu Yi was amazing. Ask me, I know everything about astronomy and geography. I am second to none in the world. Lu Yi was extremely proud. He was a rare genius in a century, and he would always be second no matter what he did. Who is the best in the world? Zheng Ji asked curiously. My wife. You don't know this? Lu Yi gave him a slow look. Zheng Ji shut up in dismay, and then made a sharp turn to vent his inner jealousy. Darn it! Even after he gets married, he will show off every day. Wan Qiqi and the others all returned to Group B, and Shengguan Qing took Xia Tao back to school. Ha 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 ha. Xiao Wan, you're definitely going to win first place this time. Pei Yuan's exaggerated laughter could be heard from a long distance away. Group B finally turned the tables and overwhelmed Group A. He couldn't even close his mouth. The first place will be mine from now on. Wan Qiqi spoke with certainty, but did not say that the Tyrannosaurus was hers. I have confidence in you. You will definitely be in our Group B. Xiao Wan, you have worked hard. Come and sit down and have some tea. Pei Yuan personally made a cup of tea and brought it to Wan Qiqi. This woman's name is Kikuno Chiharu. She is. Wan Qiqi finished speaking, the phone rang. When Pei Yuan picked up the phone, Director Mu's roar came from the receiver. Pei Yuan, you son of a zitch, you have poached my people. I warn you, don't think about my Tyrannosaurus Rex, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. The third update is completed and will continue tomorrow. What the heck are you doing? When did I ever steal your girl? Explain yourself clearly. Pei Yuan held the microphone away. He was not angry but just wondered what had happened to Director Mu. He and Director Mu were both intelligence workers in the past. In their line of work, it is necessary to remain calm.